If you've ever been ready for Olympic hockey, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button, folks, and welcome back to another episode of Benzinga's Pre-Market Playbook. It is Wednesday. Indeed, it is hump day. We got more earnings here today, more stuff to cover. We are at the middle of the week. It is a jobs Wednesday, which is not normal. We'll see what happens when that print comes out, but got a lot of stuff to break down here today, and we've got another market day to trade. Great to see a whole bunch of returning faces here today. Benzinga's Pre-Market Playbook, the Wednesday edition for February 11th, 2026, begins right now. Good morning and welcome back, folks. I hope that you all had a wonderful rest of your Tuesday. We made it here to another hump day that we got to get rolling through here. Great to see a whole bunch of returning faces. It looks like Francis is first here today. Francis, good morning. Welcome. Hopefully you had a great evening. You're ready to go here today. Big Dave, good morning. Welcome back. Shop for an earnings play. Futures are green. Shop's actually doing pretty well this morning, huh? Did you buy that yesterday? Shop popping here today. 145 the high, 142 the current spot. So that thing closed at 127 yesterday. Grats, Big Dave, if you're on that. EKS adding some color there. Shop soars after AI results. Guides for 30+% revenue. So the AI shopping bots helping out Shop. Who would have thought? Robert, good morning. Welcome back. Lion, good morning. Welcome back. Richard Judge, good morning. Welcome back. Like. Indeed, on Wednesday. Please help us out, folks. Get those likes pumped up as best we can. Zach McCracken, good morning. Welcome back. Peter, good morning. Welcome back. Brian, good morning. Welcome back. Carlos, it's good to see you as always. Yes, that girl. Good morning. Welcome back. Astro Kev, good morning. Good morning, traders. Ryan, Tim, and 13. Great show last night. Again, this morning, I'm looking at BRTX. Mentioned it yesterday. Looks to be making a productive yardage in its research. Okay, the webinar last night with Tim was awesome. He did a real good deep dive into some of the energy names. We used Pro to surface them. Then he talked about why he liked them. We showed you how you can do that yourself. We also talked about the government trades again and how you can use that tool. I also have a President's Day sale going for Benzinga Pro. So I guess I'll go ahead and throw that here in the chat. If anyone was on the fence or waiting, I got a sale for you here. I'll go ahead and drop that link there in the chat. So Kev, glad you enjoyed it. Really good deep dive there from Tim. And we are going to have Tim again on here this morning. He's got some cool stuff to talk about on the AI related business. So yesterday we focused on energy, which does have a tie to AI. Today we're going to talk about AI though. Neville, good morning. Welcome back. MIJ, good morning. Welcome back. Whis, good morning. Yassine, it's good to see you as always, brother. Bernhard, welcome back. Crispy Biscuit. Instead of calling you Crimp Biscuit, I might have to actually call you Crispy Biscuit now because that's what your name is. And I've been screwing it up for a long time. Nonetheless, good morning. Welcome back. Yasso Fine says, good morning, everyone. Let's see if the hump day gives us a pump and up day in the market. No good gappers so far. The movers list is a little bit beat today here, Yasso Fine. So we'll see what we can trade. I am going to watch SPY again out of the open, especially with the data print coming here. Might be able to catch a trade in SPY 0 DTE calls like we did yesterday. So we'll take a look at that again here. I'll just be keeping my eyes on that. Jim, good morning. Welcome back. Azrar, good morning. Welcome back. Archangel, good morning. Welcome back. Buffalo by Bicycle and Chuck, good morning. Marionetta, good morning. Day Trader, good morning. Day Trader says, I think Navarro last night said the jobs numbers were going to be revised down. Yeah, I saw that too. I mean, I see that the market was actually down a little bit here in the pre-market. Then it traded back up to its VWAP. Didn't really do anything else. We'll see if that has any impact. We'll see which direction it goes. I'll just play it. I'm not going to try and front run it. We'll see what happens when the actual print comes out. Thinking about it. Good morning. It's good to see you again. Thinking about it, bringing up AEHR, which has been brought up here a number of times before, secures a key AI production burn-in win with the initial order of Sonoma Systems for lead hyperscale customers' next generation AI ASICs processors. So AEHR, let me actually add that to the list here. Maybe we'll take a look at that again as well. HK Matt, good morning. Welcome back. Kenneth, good morning. Cam, good morning. Scarlett, good morning. Robot to Trade, good morning. JJ, good morning. And then, yeah, the airport news. So Brian here, you're hitting on this. Sorry, producer. FAA grounds all flights to and from El Paso until February 20th. WTF is going on? I don't know. I actually woke up, saw that on CNBC. They don't really seem to know. It's definitely odd that it's closed for 10 days, not 1 day, not 10 hours, but 10 days. I don't know if that's going to affect the market. I really don't know what's going on there, so I have no trade around it. But an interesting piece of news nonetheless. Did see that here very, very early this morning. If I see anything else on that, I'm sure we'll update that. And if it causes any stocks to move, we'll know about that too. Unspecified security concerns. I wonder what that is. I know El Paso is near a military base as well. Perhaps that has something to do with it. It's also right by the border there, so perhaps that has something to do with it. I don't know yet. But keep us posted on the news there. Marty, good morning. Lost Penny, good morning. Tyler, good morning. Pretty Panda, what's up? Good morning. Johnny, good morning. Arnie J, a member of Story Trading, love the show. Awesome. The Story Trading guys have done awesome. They're coming on here today again, so sit tight. We're going to have them after we wrap up here. We are happy to have you here, though, John. Glad that you enjoy all of it. Crispy Biscuit says, Ryan, you do you. I promise I won't be offended. Good. That's good to know. Just passing through. Good morning. Bob, it's good to see you again. Emissar, good morning. Maverick, good morning. Abi, good morning. Mo, good morning. And Durkus, good morning. Folks, let's go ahead and get started with our stock market today. All right, futures are slightly green here ahead of Wednesday's open. We'll see if that changes when we get the data print coming prior to the open. S&P futures up 0.11%, Dow futures up 0.11%, and the NASDAQ futures up 0.11%. So we rarely see all of those exactly even, but that is in fact the case here today. We'll see if we can hang on to green or if we make a red-green move when we get some of that data here today. Let's take a look at some cues from last session. Communication services, financial, and consumer staples stocks led losses on Tuesday as most S&P 500 sectors fell, though utilities and real estate shares rose. On Tuesday, the Dow Jones Index hit a new record for the third consecutive day. This came even as the NASDAQ composite dropped over 100 points. We talked about the rotation out of big cap tech, saw some more of that there yesterday. Investors are bracing for January's U.S. employment report, unemployment rate, and hourly wages data, which is scheduled to be released today before the market opens. That's the data that we're kind of waiting on here. Meanwhile, the 10-year Treasury bond yielded 4.13%, and the 2-year bond was at 3.45%. The CME Group's Fed Watch Tool projections now show that the market is pricing in a 78.9% likelihood that the Federal Reserve leaves the current interest rates unchanged in March. Now, it's still a very high percentage, but when we first started reporting this, we were in the mid-90s. Now we're in the high 70s. So it's worth watching going forward here. But I don't think that the move down yet in this percentage is enough to really think that we might get a cut. We actually heard from Beth Hammack earlier this week. She talked about wanting to get inflation down to the 2% target before they cut again. We all know where Powell stands and all of that. So to me, it just seems like this is just a bridge too far to cross to get those interest rates cut in March. Perhaps we'll leave it on hold for another period here. Now, we have several stocks in focus here for you today. The first one is going to be Cloudflare. This is ticker NETE. This jumped 15.23% in the pre-market on Wednesday after reporting better than expected fourth quarter financial results and issuing full year 26 sales guidance above the estimates. Really quickly, the Q4 adjusted EPS was a 28-cent EPS. That beat the 27-cent estimate. Sales were $614.50 million. That beat the $591.27 million estimate. So beat on the top and the bottom line there. Cloudflare sees Q1 adjusted EPS of 23 cents. That was versus the 25-cent estimate, and sales of 620 to 621 million. That was versus the 613 estimate. So a raise there in guidance for Q1 on the sales side. The company said it sees full year 2026 revenue in the range of $2.79 billion to $2.8 billion. That's versus the estimate of $2.74 billion. So they're definitely going to see some more sales here, both in the first quarter and also in the full year here. This has me wondering, is Cloudflare one of these stocks that's a winner in AI? We're going to be talking a lot more about AI, whether or not it's a bubble or if there are going to be huge winners in that. I personally think there are both. Little preview there, hint, hint, wink, wink. But Cloudflare here really kind of showing that it is one of the AI winners here. The next stock on our list is going to be Mattel. This is ticker MAT, and it dropped 30.25%. Not a typo, 30.25% after posting downbeat earnings for the fourth quarter. The company reported quarterly earnings of 39 cents per share, which missed the consensus estimate of 54 cents per share. And boy, what a miss. That missed by 27.64%. As far as sales go, they had 1.767 billion. That missed the 1.84 billion estimate. And they see full year 26 adjusted EPS of 118 to 130. That was versus a 175 estimate. So a big guide down there. Sales 5.5 to 5.669 billion. That's versus the 5.617 billion. The other thing here about Mattel, we're going to have to see how it finishes up, but it is on pace for being its worst day ever in terms of performance and percentage change. I had some notes here that I gathered. The previous day was February 9th, 2019. Where it dropped just about 20%. So if this holds here today, this would be the worst performing day for Mattel in the company's history. The next stock on our list is going to be AST Space Mobile. The ticker on this one is ASTS. You might hear some of us abbreviate it as ASTIS. It rose 5.43% after it announced the successful unfolding of its next generation Bluebird 6 satellite, and MSCI, which is ticker MSCI, said that it had added the satellite communication company to its all-country world index. So ASTS popping here in the pre-market. The next stock on our list is going to be Faraday Future Intelligent Electric. This is ticker FFAI. It advanced 5.4% after it signed upgraded agreements with its bridge strategy partner, officially initiating the scaled implementation of its EIA, which is Engineering AI Bridge Strategy. So FFAI trading up here as well. The last stock on our list is an oldie but goodie. It's Cisco. That's ticker CSCO. That rose 0.27% as analysts expect it to post quarterly earnings of 102 per share on revenue of $15.11 billion. That's after the closing bell today. All right, let's go take a look at the SPY chart. We got this pesky candle is back here. Not really a whole lot to cover. Yesterday was kind of a nothing day, if you asked me. In other words, we didn't really do anything constructive on the chart. If I zoom in here a little bit so it's easier to see, you can see we're basically right at this previous all-time high level. I want to call it a breakout level, but I think it's actually got a breakout for me to do that, and it just hasn't had the strength to do that. We've been waiting for SPY to really push to 700. There's a lot of option players positioned there. Sure looks like it wants to go there. We're a stone's throw away from that anyway. So it really kind of feels like the SPY wants to trade up to 700. What does it do when it hits 700? Of course, that's the $64,000 question. As far as where the chart is here today, despite the pullback yesterday, we were able to stay above the 20-day moving average. I have that value here today at 690.18. So as long as we stay above that, we should be intact for a positive trend. Again, we'll see what the jobs number does here for us. It's also worth noting that 687.31 or maybe 687.25 is going to be your 50-day moving average. That also should provide some downside support if we do trade back down. Furthermore, the 100-day is down there at 678.88. I mentioned that because the last two times we've gone to the 100-day, we've bounced. And then the time in between there, we actually bounced from the 50-day. So these levels are likely going to come into play yet again if we end up breaking down. I think even if we end up breaking out from 700, we'll probably end up back testing these levels in pretty short order, or at a minimum, back test the breakout level, I would say. All right, let's take a look at some insights from analysts here. Professor Jeremy Siegel maintaining a constructive outlook on the U.S. stock market and the economy. He characterizes the current environment as a broadening bull market, noting that the market's strength is no longer reliant solely on mega cap technology names. Now, I hope that that continues here because, frankly, the fact that the market is kind of rotating out of some of these big mega cap tech names and dispersing into other areas of the market is absolutely excellent for us. The one caveat that I will say is that there's a lot of thought here that folks are raising cash for some of these other big AI IPOs that are due this year, the SpaceX XAI combination, OpenAI, Databricks, Anthropic, Cerebras, I think was even talking about going public. So there's a lot of other really huge AI players, the AI theme very clearly driving us higher. So it'll be very interesting to see if this changes, right? Like when some of those AI names come out, do we see that reallocation into big cap tech, particularly around the AI names, or do we continue to broaden out into other pockets of the market? I personally would vote for broadening out a little bit more. I would love for us to have multiple opportunities instead of ones that are just concentrated in tech or AI. Siegel views the shift away from tech as a rotation that is real, it's persistent, and it's healthy. And I would agree with all 3 points. Regarding the economy, Siegel is encouraged by solid corporate earnings and a labor market that appears to be cooling rather than contraction. While he acknowledges high capital expenditures in the AI sector, he remains a believer in the technology, describing the build-out as a new industrial revolution. And this is going to be the big thing, right? This is who are going to be the big winners here. Who are going to be the big winners and who basically just has kind of a cool chat bot that doesn't really do a whole lot. One of the things we're seeing from Shop here is that their AI tools are actually leading to an increase in sales, and it's a significant amount of those sales. So it'll be interesting to see if that type of stuff here continues for this, quote, new industrial revolution. Looking ahead, he anticipates clear sailing in 2026 once near-term political and legal uncertainties, such as the upcoming Supreme Court decision on tariffs, are resolved. He also supports a gradual return to scarce reserves framework for monetary policy to better reflect true market supply and demand. Okay. January's U.S. employment report, unemployment rate and hourly wages data is set to be out at 8:30. That is 13 short minutes away from where we're at right now. Also, Kansas City Fed President Jeff Schmid will speak at 10:10 this morning, and monthly U.S. federal budget data will be out by 2 this morning. All right. Tax refund season. Trump declares that this is the largest tax refund season ever in 2026. President Trump predicted on Monday that Americans will witness the largest tax refund season ever this spring, crediting his administration's legislative reforms for a massive infusion of cash into household bank accounts. I'll stop right there. I can't do my own, and I'm going to have some cap gains tax to deal with from last year. So I don't know that looking at my own performance here is going to be a really good measure. I have actually seen some from some of my early filing friends, and indeed, there are some pretty huge numbers coming out there. Better still if you have kids. Speaking with Fox Business host Larry Kudlow, the president touted the success of the One Big Beautiful Bill, a comprehensive 4-year legislative package passed earlier in his term. Trump emphasized that the bill was designed to streamline 17 different initiatives into a single miracle of legislation that he believes will stabilize the U.S. economy for the remainder of the decade. Quote, "We put it together, we got it passed, and we're short of a miracle," Trump told Kudlow. He goes on to say, "We've gotten everything passed we needed for 4 years. Now we just have to manage it." White House projections and independent analysis from groups like the Tax Foundation suggest average returns could rise by as much as $1,000 per filer, fueled by retroactive provisions including no tax on tips and no tax on overtime. Quote, "Next year is projected to be the largest tax refund season ever, and we're going to be giving back refunds out of the tariffs because we've taken in literally trillions of dollars, and we're going to be giving a nice dividend to the people in addition to reducing the debt." That all sounds good on the surface. We'll see if that actually materializes. Beyond personal refunds, Trump framed the tax policy as the engine for an unprecedented national growth. He dismissed traditional economic models that view 3% GDP growth as a success, labeling such limits as socialist, and setting a bold new target of 15% growth. Quote, "We should grow 15 or 20%, end quote. Goes on to say if our new head of the Fed does the job he's capable of, we can grow at 15%. I think more than that, end quote. Trump credited the bill's 100% immediate expensing provision for an estimated $18 trillion in domestic investment by allowing businesses to deduct the full cost of new factories and equipment in a single year rather than over decades. The president claims that the U.S. is dominating everybody in manufacturing and AI. Quote, "They take the cost of the factory and they deduct it in 1 year," end quote. "It meant much greater growth. We're blowing it away now." As of Tuesday's close, the Dow Jones rose 3.73% year to date, whereas the S&P was only 1.22% higher. However, the NASDAQ was down 0.57% in 2026. So we'll see if we get any more rotation out of some of those tech names. All right. Gene Munster, this is what I can't wait. I said we were going to be talking about some AI today. Tim's got some AI stuff for us. We're going to start off here with Gene Munster. He reckons AI is in its second inning, not even the third inning. So extremely early here. On Tuesday, Deepwater Asset Management's Gene Munster argued that investors are underestimating how close artificial intelligence is to a breakthrough in real-world utility. Real quickly, I shared yesterday, I have a task here at work behind the scenes where I have to basically transcribe the people that I do the one-on-one help with. I basically have to transcribe that and then try and derive insights from that. I can't remember everything that's said, so transcribing the stuff is often very helpful. But I'm using an AI tool to help me with this, obviously. And I actually, while I was using this, I was like, I have another idea where this could actually be helpful. So the TLDR is that I'm using Notebook LM to keep track of all of these transcripts. And I realized that the chat portion that you have is quite good, and Notebook LM really looks like it doesn't hallucinate a whole lot. So I was like, a really good idea here would just be loading in all of the manuals for any systems that you use. Perhaps you get a new television, anything that might be complicated that you might need to learn how to use. Load all of those into the notebook as sources and then query the notebook. Hey, how do I do this? And it will search all of those sources very, very fast and give you a very actionable answer. So I know having an AI tool that helps you out how to use some of the technology in your house, probably not earth-shattering, but to me, this represented one step further than a chatbot that simply helps me look things up on the internet. This is actually like a tool that I can use to get answers very, very quickly, and it's tailored to whatever I put in it. So incrementally, I see some progress here. How this is actually going to apply going forward is going to be extremely important. You folks have talked a lot about medical advancements and how AI can really help identify cancer cells, tumors, things like that, and just parse through the unbelievable amount of data that medical professionals have to do. So I still want to see this. I've seen some movement on this. Not sure how much weight I want to put on that, but I would say if I had to pick yes or no, I think I would agree with Gene Munster. We're very, very early, and we're likely to see some really cool stuff from this. Maybe that's just the optimist in me. Anyway, sorry about the rant. Munster's comments come as shares of major technology companies have faced pressure amid concerns that once capital-light businesses are becoming permanently capital-heavy due to AI infrastructure demands. Meta platform shares fell 2.54% over the past 5 days, while Amazon dropped 13.35%. Alphabet also declined. That's been one of the stronger stocks, with that being down 7.06%, and the Class C shares off 7.28%. Quote, a year ago, I thought we were in AI's third inning, end quote. Now, I believe we're in the second inning. So apparently we're going backwards there. LOL. For anyone that wants to follow these tweets, Gene Munster, or anything else, that's going to be in the article that I just linked you there. Speaking on CNBC Squawk Box, Munster said headlines around debt issuance and surging capital expenditures misses the bigger picture. Quote, these are the most competent companies in the world when it comes to understanding AI, end quote. He added that markets are struggling to price in what the shift will mean. Shoot, did it just lose my spot there? Yeah, it sure did. Understand. Sorry, guys. Munster said, pointing to Meta and Alphabet as examples of firms that are already seeing tangible growth benefits. The underappreciated piece is that these companies are growing more confident that AI's utility will ultimately deliver a return on investment. That remains to be seen. That little notebook LM model that I just gave you, I don't pay for it. I do it with the free software. Would it be valuable enough for me to break open the wallet? Yet to be seen. Munster pushed back on long-term timelines often attached to AI adoption, arguing that meaningful utility could arrive within 6 to 12 months. Quote, I think we're at the doorstep of what will be a breakthrough in terms of the utility of AI, adding that the markets are struggling to price in what that shift will mean, end quote. Munster also said that investors should prepare for a 5 to 10 years of elevated capital spending, driven not just by model training, but inference as well. The real-time thinking that powers AI applications. Quote, AI is not training, AI is thinking, he said, noting that inference demand could dwarf current infrastructure spending. So he's getting you prepared for perhaps more spending there. We'll see. Meta expects 2026 capital expenditures of 115 to 135 billion. Amazon said, hold my beer. We plan to invest 200 billion in 2026. And Alphabet forecasts 175 to 185. So just still eye-popping numbers here with some of this investment here in AI. All right, we got a couple minutes here before Tim. Here's another follow-up on a story that we have been talking about. I know we don't have full details on this yet, but this is definitely something that I want to pay attention to. This has to do with the Trump administration seeking a pledge from tech firms to limit the strain that data centers produce on the folks that live in the area. The Trump administration is reportedly pushing the tech giants to publicly commit to a draft compact aimed at ensuring the rapid expansion of energy-intensive data centers does not drive up household electricity costs, strain water resources, or undermine grid reliability. You know what would help not do any of that? Putting the damn data center in space. Just saying. The broad components of the agreement, according to a Political report on Tuesday, are the power cost, the compact AI requires AI data center, excuse me, the compact requires AI data center developers to bear 100% of the cost for any new power generation their facilities need, and to sign long-term electricity contracts that prevent costs from shifting to other companies if the project falls through. Companies would also agree to cover the cost of any present or future transmission upgrades needed to connect new data centers to the grid. Additionally, the tech firms would commit to working with regulators to set power and transmission rates that protect, and ideally lower residential electricity prices in areas where their data centers operate. All that sounds really good on the surface. The principle would cover not only the company-owned data center, but also leased or third-party operated facilities to prevent firms from shifting impacts elsewhere. Also not a bad idea. The agreement would require companies to launch AI education programs in local communities and schools and adopt measures to reduce noise, traffic, and other neighborhood disruptions. I like the thought here because it's like we want AI to better our lives. We don't want it to better our lives in one little area and then make it hard in other areas. That the net of that isn't really great. In return, the federal government would support faster grid interconnections for new data centers to the bulk power system. The proposed agreement, which is still under review and may be subject to change, is envisioned as a voluntary pact between President Trump and major U.S. tech companies such as OpenAI, Microsoft, Google, Amazon, and Meta. And it could be bound to a wide-ranging set of energy, water, and community principles under this initiative. The administration plans to announce the initiative at a White House event, though it's unclear which companies will participate or have signed on at this time. The White House did not immediately respond to our comment, but as I've been updating you, I will continue to update you on all of this. This, to me, I think is a really important story here. The move by the Trump administration follows a proposal that PJM Interconnection, the largest power grid operator in the U.S., hold an emergency auction allowing tech giants to bid on 15-year contracts for building new power plants. Earlier, Microsoft had pledged to adopt a, quote, community-first, end quote, approach to its AI infrastructure expansion, ensuring that local electricity bills do not surge due to its operations, after Trump stated that he doesn't want Americans to pick up the tab. U.S. Energy Secretary Chris Wright rejected the claim that massive data centers are driving up Americans' electricity bills, arguing that tech giants are eager to fund the necessary grid updates for the AI boom, rather than being the cause of rising electricity bills. And if you think about it, that makes a lot of sense. If a community believes that Google caused them to pay more for their electricity, don't you think that they probably wouldn't use Google as much? I would say. Wright had also previously told Political that the department is in talks with hyperscale developers to help lower electricity prices over the long term while also curbing price increases. We're not at the end of this. I can't wait to see how this pans out. But in the immediate future, the data is out and the market is responding. Let's take a look at it. I'll go ahead and post it here. U.S. unemployment rate for January, 4.3% versus the 4.4% estimate. Nice. There is plenty of sound. Check your connection. Oh, you can't hear me. U.S. average hourly earnings month over month for January revised prior from 0.3 to 0.1. Was this the revision that you heard leaked by Navarro, day trader? Does that jive with what you heard? U.S. non-farm payrolls for January were 130 versus the $66,000 estimate, and U.S. non-farm payrolls for January revises the prior from 50 to 48K. So there's your data. S&P futures ticking up here. S&P futures up by 0.33%. Dow futures also spiking here, plus 0.3%. And NASDAQ, hey, NASDAQ's back in the lead, plus 4.2%. So NASDAQ leading the way higher. The data's out. The market is going up. Can we hold it is the next question. But the next segment here, going to be one of the favorites for the viewers here. Let's bring on Tim Melvin and see how he's doing. Tim, good morning. First things first, I know you had calls that expired today that you bought yesterday for this data print, right? Because that's like your main trading strategy.
No, yeah, I do that all the time. Sure. What he said, I do it. I'm a big fan. Yes, I'm on it.
Oh
Because,
man, I can't help but goofing around, man. I can't help but goofing around.
according to the recent statistics, and I just did some more works and updates on this yesterday, right? The average option premium in the United States paid by a retail investor is $365. That's our average contract, right? Average trade's about 2 grand. The average loss is between 1/3. That's what happens all the time. Okay. 2/3. That's what happens when you're dumb enough to trade around a policy announcement or earnings. Average, right? Which means half the people do worse than that. All right. So yeah, I had lots of calls because I had some capital gains from my deep value stuff. I needed them offset for tax purposes. Come on, guys.
I look. I knew what I was getting when I made the joke to begin with, Tim. So I walked right into it. It's totally good. You did not disappoint, as you never do.
And it's the whole energy thing. I love this story because the federal government, God bless them, is now going to get involved in something that companies and local communities are already starting to fix. I'm ever mindful of Emerson's suggestion that the best government is the government that governs least, I believe is the word he used. So anyway, moving right on, you had me set up, and then you had to throw in the energy stuff with the president, and then you had to throw in the jobs numbers because you set me up nice on the AI stuff.
We're still ready to do that, but Tim, you're a baseball fan. You didn't think you were going to get out here and not see a curveball. Come on.
Well, yeah, and by the way, pitchers and catchers reported. By the way, right? I don't know.
Man.
I don't know if you read this morning. I'm surprised you're in such a good mood because it turned out that the entire Chicago Cubs baseball team caught a 6-month flu. So they're going to be recruiting players from various little league teams in the Chicago area.
Tim, we got a drop for you. I got a drop for you.
You are fake news.
Yeah, no kidding. No kidding. Anyway, listen, the AI stuff, is it a boom? Is it a bubble? Is it a revolution? How about if all of those things are true? Right? And Jeremy Grantham and his team at GMO, who you really should be reading. And Grantham has a reputation of a perma bear. He's not. But you have to be paying attention to catch it when he turns bullish, because when he turns bullish in the last, I'm going to say 15 years, it's been a very narrow window, like March of 2009 for a brief hot second in April of 2020, because once prices start rising again, he switches back to neutral to bearish. He only really wants to get involved bullishly at extremes. But now they have some of the best fundamental analysts and macro analysts on the planet working at GMO. Now, they ask the question in a paper. Ryan, I sent a copy, so there are links. And it's called Valuing AI, Extreme Bubble, New Golden Era, or both.
So really quickly here, Tim, just to kind of clean this up. First of all, I have it on the screen here. Look, guys, I don't expect you to read this. This is a 15-page report, and the type is very, very small. So I'm not.
I expect him to read it. There's going to be a quiz.
Yeah, no, I expect them to read it on there. Sorry, perhaps I wasn't clear. I expect them to read it, but I don't expect them to read it here off of the screen, and I'm certainly not going to read it to them. However, a couple of things that I just put in the chat. First of all, for any of you that were interested in the energy webinar that Tim and I did last night, that replay is in the chat. Simply view it at your leisure. And then also I posted the Valuing AI PDF, the exact PDF that Tim is going to cover here. I posted the full text down there in the chat as well. So Tim, take it away.
Yeah, so the paper gets really in depth into, is AI a revolution? And the conclusion is, yeah, you know what, it probably is. This could be up there with, electricity and railroads surpassing the internet by a huge margin. Does that mean the stocks are cheap and it's just endless profits and sunshine? No, it doesn't, as a matter of fact. And they do a nice job, and I am absolutely paraphrasing for purposes of time here.
Well, that's okay, because the viewers are going to throw this AI paper in AI and ask for a summary.
Now he does reference a book that I have to say that once I saw the title, I realized that I have to go out and I have to buy this now. and hang on, let me find the title again because it was just like AI is going to kill us all or some such thing. Oh yes, the recent book, and it's by a guy named Yudkowsky, with Soros as a co-author, published in 2025, and the title of the book is "If Anyone Builds It, Everyone Dies." Which serves as kind of the counter. AI is going to kill the whole world if it truly reaches general intelligence. I don't necessarily agree with that, but I damn sure want to read the book now. Um, but he goes on, he compares this bubble to some things, the radio boom. He goes way back, and that's one of the things
Mm-hmm.
I love about Grantham. RCA, people forget what radio was in the 1920s, okay? Radio changed everything, right? To get
Mm-hmm.
news before that, you had to go run down to the street corner and find the kid with the paper and buy the paper. If you lived out in the country, your traveling salesman bought it through once a week or so, right? So you just didn't have a great source of news. You had no idea what was going on in the world. I would hypothesize that we may have all been better off with that particular model, but if you lived in Iowa, the odds that you ever heard, classical music played by a great orchestra were something akin to zero, or that you heard the latest tunes from Broadway, or of course, you heard the comedy routines or vaudeville out of New York City. You never heard that. You had no access to it. Now here comes radio. Right. And radio is this revolution in information delivery, in entertainment. Right. People used to huddle around the radio, Ryan, in the 20s and 30s, the way we might huddle around the TV on the super bet to see if our bet on which team is going to have a player bend down and tie their shoes during the course of the game.
Tim, really quickly, what brand of radio did you have when you used to do that?
When I used to do that, I think I probably had a Kmart or J.C. Penney's branded radio because, we didn't have a lot of money and my mother was notoriously cheap. So whatever the cheapest radio was, I had that sucker, and God help me if I broke it because it would not get replaced. So, but the spread of baseball is tied to radio. The same with the initial spread.
No doubt.
Radio changed the world even more so than the internet, right? Before that, we had to all sit around and talk to each other. It was horrible, dark ages kind of stuff, having to talk to your family every night. But then the radio boom was enormous, and RCA stock price shot up to over $1,200 a share, right? And along comes the market correction collapse, and the stock ends up trading for pennies. But this cycle goes on and on. United Kingdom railroads in the 1834s to 1850, massive game changer for the UK.
Mm-hmm.
Right? All of a sudden, coal can get from the plants, the factories to the cities without
Mm-hmm.
donkey carts being involved. So this spurs the Industrial Revolution, and the share prices they go running up and they fall right back down. Right when the market inevitably collapses under the weight of valuation. I always hear that valuation doesn't matter, and that's true. It really doesn't
Until it does.
Until the day it does, and then it matters more than anything else on the planet. So, the paper is a fascinating read. It is worth your time. And there's one chart here, Exhibit 6, and I want you to burn this thing right into your brain, okay? And this is percent of the U.S. stock market trading at over 10 times sales. And it's really fascinating that right before the internet bubble collapsed, this number peaked at around 30%, right? Boom, valuation-based crash. And by the way, it had spiked up to higher than normal levels back in the late 1960s, right before we got into the 70s debacle, but nowhere near these levels. It spiked up right before the market, began to back off in late 2021. We've spiked up again, and we've hit up over 30%. That's beginning to come back down as tech corrects. But, burn that one into your brain, because 10 times sales implies that I'm willing to pay for the next 10 years of revenues before I make any money. Okay. The CEO of Scott McNeely of Sun Microsystems talked about this in 1999, and it's kind of a crazy number. But they go through, the CapEx and the spending and how are you going to get an ROI. And then they talk about, look, Electricity obviously changed the world, right? Edison,
Mhm.
the guy that bought electricity to the United States. According to the legends, he first beat up Nikolai Tesla, stuffed him in a dumpster, and stole all the ideas. And however it was, Edison was a better businessman. Tesla was a better scientist. But anyway, changed the world, right? Wired all these homes in New York City. It starts spreading around the world. Greatest thing ever. They damn near went bankrupt because of capital costs, right? Heavy capex, heavy capital expenditures.
Mhm.
And that should be sounding familiar.
Oh yeah.
Involved in constructing power stations. Edison actually merged with another country a company, became a country, to form General Electric, whose share price then collapsed over the next several years in spite of rapid sales growth. Henry Ford changed the world with mass production with his third try. Okay, GM was into two corporate reorganizations back then because they failed. Personal computers, right? Personal computers took off. They made everybody a fortune. It was the greatest thing ever. Apple in the early 1990s traded for less than book value because nobody bought the story. They were having a hard time selling this thing. IBM sort of dominated that market. And then you come and you look at internet stocks. Amazon was on the list of companies sure to fail that Barron's put out in 2002 or 3. And it's like only 2 of the 15 companies on the list that actually survived. Okay. Amazon again played a big role in changing the world in the way we all shop. Bubbles have long tails. Cisco, that company has continued to grow. It's in everything. It makes the internet possible. It plays a role in AI. It plays a role in data centers. It plays a huge role in cybersecurity. And we just broke even on the stock from 2000 last year.
Here's your Cisco chart. We've talked about this quite a bit, and this is a really good reminder of exactly what you're talking about. You know, there's over exuberance early, and if you're not careful about it, who wanted to have their money locked up in Cisco for 26 years? Zero people.
Zero people. And
Zero people wanted that.
So you have to remember, this is the point of the paper, and he drives it home. Ryan's comments earlier about AI being in the second inning, I think that's probably right. I think, and I was a huge AI skeptic, I have to tell you.
But Tim, before you go into that, let me highlight one of the paragraphs that really stood out to me, because this is kind of, I'm glad that you're telling this story right now, and I want you to finish it. But this paragraph here, talking about how every technological revolution attracts naysayers, and they give 3 excellent examples here. Alexander Graham Bell displayed the telephone in 1876 and was dismissed by the president of Western Union as an electrical toy. How did that go? Ken Olsen, co-founder of Digital Equipment Corporation, declared a year after the launch of the Apple computer that there's no reason for anyone to have a computer in their home, as you, me, and everyone viewing sits on their computer in their own home. And then let's not forget, perhaps the worst economist of all time, 1998, Paul Krugman predicted that the internet's economic impact would be no greater than a fax machine. How did that go? How does he still have a job, by the way? You know what? We're going to stay positive here. I'm not, you know what? I'm not even going to go into it, Tim. We're going to stay positive here.
It's positive that it's a mystery how Paul Krugman has a job.
Okay.
That's a positive fact. Now, listen, there's always naysayers. And look, AI probably is going to do everything and even more that we think it's going to do. That does not mean that the stocks are cheap or that they're a bargain, right? Because one of the things that you were reading in the comment, the guy said, look, the AI capex is going to go on for 10 years. Okay. That sounds like a utility build out to me. And that's fine, because it's going to be the most important utility probably in the history of the world. But here's the big but. That does not mean that the companies involved are going to earn a decent ROI in the early stages of this thing, meaning that they may not, at current multiples, be the greatest thing that you ever bought in your whole life at this price. Now, so when do you buy them? You buy them when it goes boom. And there'll be a boom, right? There will be a blow up in here. NVIDIA will underperform estimates. Somebody will do something that causes a steep stiff sell-off. We've gotten whispers of it in recent months. And when everybody's throwing in the towel and thinks that internet is crap and all these companies are going to go bankrupt and Nvidia was the worst idea ever and we should, take Huang out and hanging by his leather jacket from the tallest tree, that's when you buy.
Okay, so the buy part is when this goes back to the old Warren Buffett quote: "Buy when there's blood on the streets." Right?
That's not Warren Buffett. That is
sorry.
That is Baron Rothschild, and that
Baron
happened.
Rothschild. Sorry,
Yes,
I got it wrong.
That happened back, right around the times of Waterloo. So, but Buffett appropriated it. But yes. All right. Next up, we got a couple cool studies here. The fiscal policy uncertainty. I'm not going to spend a gazillion moments of time, but this is way cool, guys. And I sent you, Ryan, I put the link to it in here. But there is a paper that suggests that when the newspapers, the media, are spending a lot of time talking about fiscal policy uncertainty, and there's certain phrases that they count in the newspapers, right? And when these mentions are above the average, then it generally leads to higher longer term stock prices, right? Because the market sell off. Now, what I did is I went back and I looked, and it's a very noisy data set, as you can imagine. But if you take this and you use either the 10-year average is 150% of normal of the baseline index, the standard deviation is 85. So that would mean anytime it's over 310%, then things are getting too dicey. And you saw it was in April, it was back in late 2018, this thing triggers off as the fiscal policy uncertainty index is high at a time when prices are falling, and that's been a buying opportunity. I sent you a link directly to the site, Ryan.
Yeah, it's the Science Direct link, right?
Yeah, no, it's an economic policy uncertainty. If you don't,
here it is, policyuncertainty.com.
Yes.
So sorry, I'm again, no labels here, Tim. Very tough for me to get the right things in there.
Well, I know, but it's like an intellectual challenge for you, right? It kind of
That's true. You keep me on my toes.
Your brain first thing in the morning, the coffee kind of drives it along and gets you where you got to go. But the data set for global, USA, bunch of countries all over the world. So you can kind of play with this, and I do recommend that you do this around an average or a mean and standard deviations. And it has a tremendous amount of value as to when, maybe we're getting a little bit too carried away with our coverage of negatives in the economy.
Okay.
Not going to spend a ton of time on this one because we've got two more that are actually really cool. Ryan, I need you to fire your scanner up for me.
Okay.
Because we are going to talk about some scan-worthy stuff here.
Beautiful. I like doing that, Tim. Let's go back to Pro here. Let's open up a scanner. What do you got for me, boss?
Well, and this is a dense paper, okay? And it's factor pricing across asset classes. And
I linked that one too.
It was just published in the Journal of Empirical Finance with an emphasis on what actually matters for asset allocation, factor investing, and performance evaluation. Now, I'm going to bring this one down, right, to the brass tacks, because we went in and I dug through this thing, and it is a dense paper, guys. I mean, it's, if you're not good at math, don't try this at home.
Or use your AI tool to help you.
Or use your AI tool to help you. Yes, that's right. That will sort it out pretty quick. We looked at what is important in every market using the Bayesian model selection that they used in this paper. The U.S., two things that matter. Market factor. You've got to get the tone of the market right. I think you can do that with as simple as above or below the 200-day moving average or trend. There's a couple, whatever you want to measure the market. I think trend and stocks above and below 200-day moving average is the best way to identify trend and trend exhaustion. But the big factor that they look at here is quality minus junk. That's the only robust cross-sectional factor that they found that worked in their particular model. So this is real simple. Now we're just going to go in to our handy dandy quality rankings. So we're going to go to the quality ranking, Ryan.
Okay. So really quickly, because we were talking about trends there, I loaded up the trends as well. So if we want to do any of those, or if we want to filter on any of those, we can. But we're going to start with the quality, like you just said.
Yes, yeah. Because the trend really had more to do with the broader market itself. It almost goes back to O'Neill's Can Slim, where the M, if you recall, was market. So anyway, quality ranking 80 to 100. But now I want to make sure I get this quality factor exactly correct, right? So I'm going to add a Piotrowski 8 score, F score of 8. I'm sorry, it's the F score of 8.
So 8 to 9 or just 8?
No, 8 to 9, just 8 to 9.
Okay, so we're really going for the cream of the crop
Yeah,
here.
no, we're cream of the crop. We're going to be long quality, right? Now, so market cap, sorted by that. You've got Apple, Google, Microsoft, Walmart, Costco,
Novartis, Raytheon, SAP,
RTX, right? So these truly are Union Pacific. These are the absolute highest quality companies out there. And when you just resort this at nines, your Apple, Costco, Cirrus Logic, Hulacan Loki, Intuit, KLAC, Kennametal, Mueller Water Products. That is a cool company, by the way. ROK, Rockwell Automation. So, and I think that's how you want to sort it, is by Piotrowski scores down. So now we've got the highest quality stuff. We want our longs to come from here. Make sense to everybody?
Yeah, sure does.
I thought it would. Now, let's go find the junk that we want to be short or maybe avoid. So we're going to set Piotrowski F scores to 1 to 3.
Okay, cool. So really the F score here is what's doing the heavy lifting for us. So if we want the quality sorted by the F score, now we're going to do the inverse. So we want the lowest crap at the, or sorry.
Yeah, that's right. We want 1 to 25 with low F scores. So that's telling us that, you know what, things really just ain't great here.
Is it 1 to 25 on the quality?
Yeah.
Okay, so max of 25, and then the F score here, 1 to 3.
Yeah, make sure you put the 1 in on the quality, because remember, there's a lot of zeros because of time span.
Tim with the pro tip. Let's go.
Yes, there you go. Okay, so now let's just sort it by market cap.
Got it.
So we want to avoid to be short, like Johnson & Johnson, Unilever, Pfizer, Bud. So guys, drink up.
Bristol Myers. This is one that we've been talking about recently. Tim, this is awesome.
Yeah. So there you have it. There's your quality minus junk for the U.S. By the way, quality minus junk and small cap in international stocks is the bee's knees. How you like that, huh? Got some 1920s jargon in there to go with my radio story. So this is actually pretty cool. And, if you're trading, incorporate this into your trading. And I've said for a long time, if you're not using things like F score and quality scores in your trading, right, then you're just doing what everybody else does. So why are you doing that?
And this is, Tim, we've just demonstrated how easy this is to do. This is just a handful of keystrokes.
Right. And that,
your list, the work's done for you.
Yeah. And now you can start to set up things like short-term trend and some of the other trading indicators. Okay. And we'd have to do a whole show on using F-score and trading indicators. So I'm not going to get buried in that this morning.
Okay. Yeah. We don't have time for that today, but Tim, maybe that's something we should do in the near future here.
Yes. I actually love the idea. Now I got one more for you. And this one is just so cool, right? And I had a lot of fun doing this one. It confirmed some things that I already knew, and that's how I know that the authors of the paper are really, really smart, because most of their stuff agreed with me. So I want to congratulate them on passing their core intelligence tests and welcome them to the club. Anyway, this one's called Insider Purchase Signals in Microcap Equities. So do open market insider buying in U.S. microcap stocks reliably predict abnormal returns? They do. And now here's the cool thing, and what I really loved about this. The key result of this is counterintuitive. 69% of the big winners in this thing were trading closer to 52-week highs than 52-week lows.
Interesting. So it wasn't buying the weakness.
Right. And this follows up on a study that was done a couple years ago, okay, on insider buying. When an insider is buying down near low, that's a value purchase, right? The stock is undervalued. It's too cheap. I think over time, this thing's going to go up, right? When I'm buying at or near or only slightly below a high price, I'm saying I know things you don't know, and things are great at my company, and they are absolutely getting better on a daily basis. Of course, if you're in takeover talks or something like that, you can't buy. But you've got reasons to be really positive about your company, about your business, or about the pool of assets that you're managing. And so I ran that screen. We did micro caps. We capped this thing at $500 million. So this is teeny tiny stuff. And this is like, this is like a Tim Melvin portfolio because there's two things dominate it: closed-end funds, which is really cool, very nice yields in this stuff, and small banks. I mean, that is the list. Now,
no wonder you like this so much.
Yeah, no, and I'm going to mention because this may be significant, and do your own research because I've done none. But MAIA is a small biotech that has seen a little bit of insider buying as it's moving up towards the highs. That's unusual and in and of itself demands attention.
What was the ticker again? I'll put that on screen here. I'm sorry, I'm slacking.
MAIA.
MAIA. Okay.
Mm-hmm. And then, the River North Opportunistic Munis. River North is a firm there in Chicago, in the River North district. Strangely enough, huh? What an idea. They do opportunistic municipal bond buying. They're really good at it, guys. And so we've got a decent insider buy, closer to a high than to a low. I'm just running real quick to get you the yield on this. But there's a whole very, very strong list of these things. And again, this is a value add thing. It doesn't fit into the current narrative. It's not as exciting, perhaps, as you might want it to be. But it is. There it is, RMI. The River North Municipal Fund has a yield of about 7% tax-free. So I'll take that.
Looks like my internet had a snafu there. I think you're okay. I think that was on me.
Okay, that was on you. Okay. But CMTV, ECBK, these are tiny banks, guys. Do not dare use a limit order on these. EFSI, FCCO, CWBC, all small banks that are seeing buying by insiders in one of the most favorable environment for bank stocks in an incredibly long time. And then there's one more that I'm going to mention, FINS. I absolutely love this thing. I usually won't tell anybody but a paid subscriber about this. It's Angel Oak's Financial Strategies Income Fund. It is currently yielding 10.1%. They buy small bank subordinated debt, which is treated as Tier 1 capital by the regulators. This is an institutional market. You can't just call your bank and say, hey, I see you guys are participating in the bank in the offering for debt of XYZ, very small bank. And they'll say, yeah, so what? You can't have any. It's an institutional market. A lot of it tends to be 144A paper. You can only get it as a retail investor right here. And it's going to respond a little bit to rate cuts and to the economy, but it kind of does its own thing, and it's just kicking off a 10% yield and just constantly. It trades at a narrow discount, but you don't expect a big discount in this fund. So that's kind of our story there. The microcap insider buying closer to 52-week highs. Right now, it's dominated with interest-sensitive closed-end funds, small banks, and one lonely little biotech, which would make me want to go take a look at that biotech.
Okay. And I put that on the screen here. That was MAIA. And then also we put FINS up here. I summarized that paper, Tim. The paper finds that insider buying in U.S. microcap stocks can be turned into a systematically useful trading signal with nonlinear models, and that the buying into strength is surprisingly better than buying the dip.
Yep.
So pretty good TLDR there. Okay. Tim, this was really good stuff. Again, I always appreciate it.
All right, guys. Well, listen, it's warmer here finally. So we're going to kind of get out and try to enjoy the day here a little bit.
I love it.
Little dog is thrilled. I'm thrilled not to walk a little dog in the snow. So all good down here in the South. We'll keep digging around trying to find you guys ideas. Thanks for spending some time with me this morning. And if I bored you, yeah, I'm sorry. I'm just trying to make you money. and making money.
Remember, folks, it's not all about day trading. It's also about long-term investing. Tim, you're the best. We appreciate you. We'll see you next time.
All right, guys, have a good week.
All right, that is Tim Melvin, folks. I did throw all of the links from the different papers and stuff in the chat there, so you should be able to do it. Those of you that are talking about using AI to summarize it, it works great. Perplexity just made very quick work of this entire thing here. Really, really good stuff. I don't know where Tim finds these papers. He won't tell me. I can't figure it out, but almost every time that he brings one of these here and I read through it, I'm like, oh man, that's really good information. So really good stuff there. Okay, really quick, we got a couple of tweets that I want to talk about, and then we're going to get to 13 and the movers breakdown. Let's go ahead and start street tweets. Okay, first tweet here from Unusual Whales. OpenAI predicts a $14 billion loss in 2026. That is from PC Gamer. So we just spent a lot of time talking about AI, the CapEx. We talked about possible bubble or a boom or bust, or boom or bubble. There's a bunch of B words in there. But basically, we talked about this, it might be both, right? There are going to be winners from this. There are going to be busts from this. OpenAI predicts a $14 billion loss. Well, at some point, they better make some money. I think that's what's going on here. At some point, it better not be looking at eye-popping losses like this. Really quickly, I will say that for any of you that are interested in this stuff, yeah, maybe I shouldn't say this, but I'm going to. Sometimes, folks, the comments, they're real good. I don't have my screen share on here because I think we're in a different scene. But anyway, check out the comments from the tweet there. It's pretty hilarious. So good stuff. Producer, next tweet. Next tweet here is from Ross Gerber. Pretty excited for the R2. Someone has to keep the EV torch alive. Rivian seems to be leading the way. We had Ford report earnings. They've really taken a beating. They might have overdone it a little bit on EVs. Tesla, it seems like it's moving away from EV to other things like AI and robotics that are really going to carry the day. We've talked a lot about the demand numbers here for EVs. It was very, very clearly something that was pushed on people. They don't really want it. They want it some, but not the way that it was being pushed and mandated and all of that. Ross Gerber here looking like he's trying to keep that alive. I wonder how many people are actually going to keep the EV thing alive here. Let me know if you like Rivian. Let me know if you like the stock, if you like the truck, if you like the idea here. Let me know, perhaps most importantly, do you agree or disagree with Ross Gerber? All right, that does it for street tweets. Next, we're going to be bringing on 13. This is what you folks have been waiting for. Let's go ahead and knock out our pre-market pulse. Good morning. How you doing? Really quickly, before I get to you, let me go back to Unusual Whales. Here are the comments. They're just really funny memes, really good. I think that sometimes when you come across some of these tweets, some of the comments are the most. So just wanted to share that with you. Take care, buddy. All right, 13. How you doing?
I'm doing just fine. How are you? How's everybody in the chat?
I think the chat is actually doing really good here today. I know I'm doing really good here today. Where you want to start with the movers? It didn't look like the list was all that great earlier.
It's not.
Okay.
It really isn't. I looked at one that might do something. It may already have done it, but everything else doesn't look like there's going to be anything there, or it's a penny stock, or it's a leveraged ETF.
Okay.
That one, for example, look at how much we've traded so far.
Okay, sorry, I'm not prepared. So whatever you're trying to lead me to, I have no idea. This is MNTN. The ticker here is MNTN. What's that?
I'm going to look at the session volume.
Okay. 782,000 shares. So we're not even over a million. A lot of these movers that we take a look at are multiple millions, sometimes 40 millions. This one here, not even a million. Float is 35.4 million on this one. Short interest on this, 10.6%, 6.89 days to cover. 13, with these kind of being lower volume here, maybe some of these higher short interest names will actually get a little bit of squeeze action today.
Might see. I mean, that's kind of why I'm keeping an eye on FLWS. That's that's up.
Let's talk about that real quick. So that kind of came out of nowhere. Here you go. So FLWS. So one of the things that 13 is talking about, he's saying, I want to keep my eye on the short interest here.
Mhm.
Eye popping, as 13 reported last night on the happy hour. 43.5% of the float shorted with 11.4 days to cover. Why are we talking about this? Because this is flowers.com. And you know what's on Saturday? Valentine's Day is on Saturday. We actually had one of our members pull a seasonality chart for this as well. Here is your flowers.com seasonality from February 9th to February 20th. This thing goes up an awful lot. Looks like 70% of the time this is a winning trade with an average profit of nearly 4%. So 13, to your point here about watching flowers.com, I know it's not on the movers. Maybe we should just start with this. This might be a little bit more actionable. What do you think?
I don't know what kind of price action it's going to get today. We can already see in the pre-market, it's got about 2,000 shares traded. So it's almost like it's not even getting noticed. But this whole setup here that we have with, the price starting to turn around, the Valentine's Day approaching, the seasonality and the high short interest, all those things taken together makes me think that this might provide a trade sometime this week. Don't know if we're going to see it today or tomorrow, or maybe it happens on Friday, but I think this is one that's worth keeping an eye on because of the possibility that this might go on a short squeeze.
Okay, good stuff there. Wasn't on the movers list, but we gave you a bonus one with some plans in there, flowers.com. Okay, moving back here to MNTN. Looks like this thing is finding some resistance here at 12. Let me see what the news was here. Yesterday, after hours, we had earnings, right? So it looks like they beat on earnings and then also guided Q1 sales. Oh, that's actually right. Nope. Sorry. Full year sales here. This guide was higher. So better than expected Q4 financial results, sales guidance above estimates, full year sales guidance, that is above estimates. Stock is up 43% here. We talked a little bit about the short interest. It's elevated, not quite high, but elevated here. Let me just check. I'm not familiar with this, so let me just see. Okay, so there's no insider buying activity on this. We highlighted the volume, 811,000 shares traded. On average, it normally only trades 640. So despite the lower volume, we're actually above the average here. This is a performance TV software company. It's focused on providing performance advertising services through a unified online advertising platform that includes segmentation tools, intelligent campaign planning, advanced audience targeting, prospecting, and creative ad building, and data analytics. So what do you think here on MNTN, 13?
Well, I was putting out the session volume because that's my biggest concern. If we don't have enough volume or enough participation in this, then we're not going to get any of the moves that we're looking for here. So if you look at the chart, since we had this earnings report, this thing has gone up and tried to take out 12 multiple times. Once on the initial move up, it went a little bit sideways and for the rest of the after hours, and then in the pre-market we opened, tried to get through 12 again, couldn't do it. Just recently we went up to 12.21, but we came right back in. Clearly a standout resistance area for this stock, and I'm concerned that because of the lack of volume, we're not going to be able to get through it. Now there is also the component of this having a large spread. It's like about 25 cents right now. So even if you are going to trade this, it's going to have to be limit orders. You don't want to market order this thing.
Yeah, for sure.
So I just don't know how great it's going to be. I mean, we've been going sideways and haven't been able to meaningfully recapture or capture 12. And I think that's what I'd be keeping an eye on if I decide I want to trade this. When we open, is this going to get the volume it needs to go through 12? That's what I'd be keeping an eye on. And if it does have that volume, well, interestingly, we have $12 as the 65-day EMA. So that explains that. But if it does get beyond 12, you have resistance areas at about 12.85, and I see a big one at about 14.50. So those would be the next upside areas if we manage to get through the 65-day EMA.
Okay, good stuff there. MNTN. MNTN, excuse me. Next one here on our list is going to be STIM. This is STIM. This popped to 220 yesterday. Looks like it's coming back in a little bit. We're beneath the VWAP and we're beneath the what looks like the 65 EMA. Stock, excuse me. Stock is still higher here by 26.7%, but it is coming back in a little bit. Last night, it announced selected preliminary unaudited fourth quarter, and full year 2026 financial results. Preliminary revenue of 41.8 million, full year revenue of 149.2 million. So these are preliminary reports. We actually talked about some preliminary reports yesterday, and one of the things that happens is that if the company comes across something that's so meaningfully different than what they've estimated or guided for, they're actually obligated to update. And perhaps that's what we're seeing here. Stock's higher here by 26%. It's only $1.89. Quick peek at the short interest, 23% of the float shorted with nearly 8 days to cover. This ranks high on our short interest scale. On average, this trades 1.7 million shares per day. It's traded 2 million here today, and the float's 37.35. You have anything on STIM 13?
Didn't cover this one, but just looking at it, it's another one that hasn't really had a whole lot of session volume. It's more than the last one we looked at, but at just 2 million shares traded. I'm looking at the chart, and it looks like there is barely anything happening here. I think all that session volume happened in two instances this morning. Once when we got that move out in the pre-market, and then more recently around 8:05, 8 o'clock, there's a volume spike that I think was selling volume. Didn't break down to beneath 180, but it certainly kept it from going above the VWAP. So that looks like to me that's the only two instances of high volume this entire pre-market session. So this is another one that I'm not sure about, because if we don't get that volume, that participation, then we might not see any more upside. Now, on the other hand, this does have some pretty high short interest. Almost 23% of the float is shorted. Almost 8 days to cover. So this could be a potential short squeeze. And I think that's more likely what we're going to end up seeing out of this on low volume.
Okay. Good stuff there. ELAB is the next one. Several folks, I think, had already mentioned ELAB here today. This traded up in the after hours, kind of made a double top here in the pre-market up near 270. We'll see if that comes into play. The volume has really died off from that volume pump that it had earlier here. We do have some news that's fresh as of this morning. Northstrive Biosciences executes definitive exclusive licensing agreement with Modulant Biosciences. So this is for ELAB here. This is for an agreement for commercialization of EL22 and EL32, engineered probiotic for muscle preservation and animal health. So stocks up 22.8% here. I think we've traded ELAB before. Short interest on this is negligible. Volume is unlike some of the other ones, 13. This one actually has some significant volume at 18.6 million. Float is 1.1 million, so we've churned it 18 times already. What do you think here on ELAB?
Well, last time we traded this, the levels I have out here, the lowest one is 290, and we're not there right now, even though I think we did try to trade up close to that. Yeah, we did. So we were pretty close to that in the pre-market here. We went up to 281. So I think that's going to have to remain as a potential resistance area should we get back up there. But right now, the earliest areas of resistance that I'm seeing are going to be the 65 EMA and the VWAP. We just attempted to try to recapture the 65 EMA. That didn't work out, and we are getting pushed back down to closer to 2. Now, if we break beneath the 200 EMA, which is at 205, I think that's going to pretty much signal that this is going to be done for the morning, maybe the day. But right now, it's kind of forming a little bit of a base here above 205. So might be finding it's some footing before we open. Maybe this goes back up, but I still see all this pre-market price action right about 225. That was support earlier in the morning, and now it's become resistance. So it's going to have to climb through that as well, in addition to the 65 EMA and VWAP. As far as the financials go, I didn't cover this one, so not sure how great it is. Looks like they have very little revenue. They lost over $6 million last year. Don't have a real good read on their cash position, so maybe this is one company that is needing to raise capital at some point. I can't say for sure.
Okay, maybe look out for an offering there. That's a good breakdown nonetheless. 13, let me just try this a different way because I'm 0 for 3 with you here today. What do you have on your list? We'll cover that next.
Well, the only one that looked like it was going to do had any kind of volume was PRFX. but
which
even
we've traded before.
Even that doesn't look great to me. I mean, we had all the big move came at when we get shortly after we got the jobs report, and it popped up over 750, went almost to 8, and it's come back in since. I think 8 was sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to give what the news was here. PRF Technologies wins another European utility scale solar deployment, which expands its deep solar installed commercial base. So pretty good there. It's still up by 22%, but 13. One of the reasons why it doesn't look good to you, the huge move and the huge retracement. Is that right?
Yeah, and this is also a pharmaceutical company.
So what are they talking about with the solar stuff?
They do several different things. They have AI driven renewable energy analytics, drug delivery technology. So they're in some stuff. Looks like they're getting a bit of volume right now. So if this move up that we're getting right now, has any legs, we're going to want to see this take out the VWAP, which I have at 445 right now. There might be some resistance at 4, but I think if we get through that, the bigger one's going to be VWAP.
PRFX, through its deep solar AI-driven solar analytics business unit, announced the signing of a software as a service agreement with this energy provider. So, I don't know, man.
Yeah, it's just a lot of weird companies that we've seen lately, especially the ones that get into crypto for a treasury. But
this says it's a diversified so this is a software it's not a biotech. This is a software it says it's in the pharmaceutical industry.
Right.
I'm sorry. Look, I'm not trying to fight anybody here. I'm trying to figure out what's going on. This is diversified platform spanning specifically pharmaceuticals, but also apparently solar. It's got drug delivery technologies and AI-driven renewable energy analytics. That's got to be what this is about.
Yeah.
So, okay. Sorry, man. I'm doing my best to kind of piece this together here.
No, it's okay.
It doesn't make a lot of sense.
We're doing it together because I don't know a lot about this company either. And I was looking at this and thinking, wow, they're in some really diverse stuff. So anyway, but yeah, and Lion, like, I don't like this morning, they all do look like trash this morning. So
yeah, I don't like any of these. There's nothing that we've covered here that really kind of gets me going. I'll be honest.
Apparently they also make jelly donuts.
Yeah, I saw that from Joe. I'm looking at here like VRT. This is up on earnings. Cool. NET. This is up on earnings. This looks like a massive AI winner. This actually might have a gap and go. Shop, same deal.
One that I was trading yesterday, and Hakeem brought it up to us because there was a 13F filing. It was 13F filing. It was Amazon took a stake in Beta Technologies. Remember that?
Yep.
I ended up trading that yesterday.
What was the ticker? You didn't trade Amazon.
BETA.
BETA.
I went from 1850 to 20. It was so they had that first initial move to 20. When it came back in and found a base, it looked like it was getting ready to scallop. So I took a position at 1850 and just had a limit order at 20. This thing went over 20 and went up to like 21.36. So I guess I missed out on some, but the whole plan was just to see if it could get back up to that initial resistance area on the impulse movement, and it went through it. So that was the trade I took. But this is interesting because this is an EV toll company. If you go to their webpage, you can see that they've already actually got aircraft. So it's kind of an interesting stake that they've taken, and I thought this might provide a trade.
And they are hiring manufacturing technicians.
So kind of interesting that they've gone this route. So this will compete with like Archer Aviation, Joby. You have Wisk with Boeing. Then the number of Chinese names. So I thought this was a pretty interesting stake that they took. I gave it a trade, and maybe it's just worth keeping an eye on to see if it does something else again today.
Okay. All right. Good stuff. All right. I'm going to move away from the movers list because it has not Not done anything really great for us here today. It's only caused more confusion, and I'm sorry about that. The other one that's being mentioned here is AEHR, and I know that my details tool here is not giving me the shading. So here's AEHR. This stock closed at 26.83 yesterday. It is at the pre-market highs here today. We had an impulse move followed by a pullback to the VWAP that actually held at the 9 EMA. That's been kind of a pattern for us the last couple of days here. Now we've gone right back up to the highs here on AEHR. Thinking about it, I know you've been all over this one. AEHR Test Systems announces a key strategic win with an initial production purchase order of Sonoma Systems for lead hyperscale customers for next generation AI ASICs processors. That's what's driving this here, plus 17%. Quick peek at the short interest on this name, 16% of the float shorted with 3.82 days to cover. Not quite high by our metric, but still elevated and worth watching. It is traded 273,000 shares here today, which is why it's not on the movers list. It doesn't have that big volume yet, kind of going back to what 13 had talked about earlier. On average, it trades 875,000 shares. The float's just shy of 30 million. So, this could be a good one here today. This is one our group has traded in a number of times before. What do you think about that? Oh, and really quickly here, just to let you folks know, we are actually blessed by greatness here today. My teammate Andrew Labos is in here. We don't often see Labos. He is an absolute all-star here at Benzinga. And one more thing, sometimes I get random questions about, Ryan, I love Pro. I love the data in Pro. I love all of this stuff, but how do I get to the API? How do I get to the API here from Pro? And I always have the same answer. That is not part of Pro. It is covered by our licensing division, and it is Andrew Labos who manages that. So if any of you are interested in an API, you can scan the QR code that's on the screen there. We should be able to help you out. I will introduce you to our all-star here, Andrew, or someone else on his team. So I appreciate you dropping by. Labos, look, man, we try and make each other rich here. Let's not even hide that. Let's not even hide that here. But shout out to you and the entire licensing team. Really, really good stuff. Some other people have built some pretty cool products off of that data. If that's something, I know we don't talk about that here, but if that's something that you're interested, hit it. Good to see you. All right. Did you have anything else here on AEHR? Do you want to take a look at another stock?
Do you still have the trend line that we drew with AEHR? I think we drew it either this week or last week.
Maybe, but it might be on a different chart. Let me check my other big chart here in AEHR. I feel like this is one that we took a look at a few times. Let's do that here real quick. Let's go. 13.
Now look where the price is.
Right there? Is it right there at the trend line? Look at that, dude.
Right there
Are
at the
you
trend
kidding
line.
me?
So
okay.
To me, I think we want to see this break through the trend line. And maybe this goes on a bit of a run up to about 34.50, maybe even 35. But that's where I think we'll start to see some resistance. If we get all that, that'd be great, because I want to see this back test the trend line as support. So ideally, because we've had this huge trend line, we want to see a breakout through this. Maybe it goes on a bit of a run for a day or two. But when we get these breakouts from these downtrends, they tend to back test the trend line. So I want to see that, and I want to see it hold, and then that's going to be the reload zone to have this go to 40 and beyond.
Yeah, that might be a great entry for a swing trade, a multi-day trade here, as opposed to some of these intraday trades that we do. Okay, 13, I need to step away here very, very quickly. I am hoping that you can help. Robert wants to take a look at ticker VRT. This is a company that reported earnings last night. They are popping here today. Really quickly, Vertiv Holding shares, are trading higher after the company reported better than expected Q4 adjusted EPS results and issued Q1 guidance adjusted EPS above estimates. Also, the company issued full year guidance above estimates. So you got the whole trifecta here. This is what the chart looks like. Yes, we are breaking to new all-time highs. Yes, we have the possibility of an island. We'll watch that here today. 13, I'll be right back.
Sounds good. So I'm kind of familiar with this one. This has been getting talked about in our circle for a while. I believe this is one of the cooling and temperature control companies that's being used for data centers. So they're going to have a ton of business. This whole data center build out thing, I know that we've been getting headlines recently about, there being some question about whether or not we're going to be able to do this build or not. I think this is going to go into the 2030s. I don't think that we're going to be slowing down with that. So this is going to be one company that's going to benefit from all that. Now, that doesn't mean that there's going to be some back and forth with the price. Just like we saw with AEHR, this one also has a trend line, but it's to the upside, not the downside. So because we are still in an uptrend. So for that, we are kind of breaking above the trend line right now, the uptrend line. I've drawn that from the highs of May 2024 through the high of January 2025. And that takes us to right about where the price is today. We've just climbed over that. So the concern that I have is because how much we've gone up recently, just this year alone. I'm kind of leaning a little bit more towards the side of we could end up seeing this this fade a bit, but I still think that we're going to get a lot of great moves in BRT throughout the year. But I think that we might see this come back in a little bit. I don't know if we're going to get a big pop out the gate and then it comes back in, or if it's just going to come down as soon as we open. But I think this is going to be good long term. But this move here today, I think it might end up fading a bit.
Okay. Sorry, I came back to thinking about its joke here. Ryan stepping away to hang with his girl, Mary Jane. Hashtag really good stuff. Thinking about it, bro. It is 8:30 in the morning. You think I'm out here ripping blunts while I'm trying to go trade? I mean, that is just I'm not wisdom.
That's wake and bake. But by the way, you don't want to be doing any controlled substances while you're trading. It doesn't make for good.
Yeah, that's like one of the worst. I don't know how wisdom does it. That's one of the worst ideas. With all due respect to him, that's one of the worst ideas I've ever heard. I can't imagine doing that.
But anyway, yeah. So that's what I think about BRT.
Okay. Sorry, we kind of changed tracks there a little bit. VRT, those numbers were damn good.
They were.
So maybe if we can, carve out a nice range here, we get some pretty good entry near the low end of that range.
So I was while you were gone, I was describing a trend line here. I'm sure you see it. Just use the
I sure do.
The highs from May 2024 and the highs from January 2025. Yep. And that takes us up to about where we are now.
Dude, are you kidding me with these trend lines? Get out of here.
And this is kind of the reason why I'm thinking, well, we might fade this a little bit. It's been a really good move. Even if we do pop up a little bit from the open, we still could come back in a little bit. I think this is going to be a great company as the data centers get built out. So I'm not worried about the future. But I think just with the earnings and the price action, this may come back in a little bit. And look at the RSI; we're getting a little extended as well. So all those things into consideration, I think we could see a little bit of pullback here. But hopefully we don't completely fill the gap and we create a floating island. I
was going to say that's what I'm kind of looking at here. 13 on the 5-minute chart, we can actually see where this went. I would go back here to the daily. I'll get to the joke in a sec. I'm sure you guys are.
No, I'm just laughing at that 5-minute chart. How when you drew the trend line, it
literally went right to it, guys. Yeah. I'm thinking 215 to 220 here might be the bottom end of the island.
Okay.
So I'm just saying that's something to watch. We'll watch this as the day unfolds here. Be sure to check in on this candle near the end of the day. Also, really quick, before we open here, several of you mentioned this, but the memory names are popping here again. Here's Micron up 6.5% here today. This thing's going from 6 to midnight. Let's take a look at SNDK. Is that doing the same thing? Yep, sure is.
Oh, man.
So some of these memory names also going here. That is going to give us an opportunity here today. I don't think we need to trade junk. There's other stuff that seems to be moving. Let's do it.
I'm glad I sold all my mud yesterday.
Oh, I bet you are. I bet you are. Okay. Casino's about to open, folks. Bless up.
That's what we hope the prices do.
Yeah, you know what else I'm going to do? I'm actually going to make a very quick adjustment to my scanner here. I'm filtering out the penny stocks. I'm sorry, guys. There's too much other stuff here today. I'm not doing penny stocks, period. We're going to do a minimum price of $1. Giddy up.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I don't even look at those underneath $1 anyway, unless I think they're part of a theme.
Okay. PRFX, that's one of our movers here. Let's see how that's doing. Oh. We are open.
All right. So AEHR looks like we're going higher out of that the gate here. Yeah, because we just broke that trend line. So giddy up. That should be a little bit of fun there.
Micron retook the pre-market high, so those memory names are continuing higher. I actually am seeing some call flow on the back of that move higher as well. TSM also having some call flow, but calls totally outweighing puts right out of the open here. S&P 500 ripping higher. We actually might be going to that 700 level that we have been waiting for what feels like weeks. 697 test right now.
Yeah, they just needed to see if those jobs numbers were going to be cooked or not. I don't know. What do you feel about how you feel about what we got?
You know what? I'll be honest with you. I don't even really care. I care about what the market reaction is, and I'm going to so good.
Yeah.
We'll see if we get a pullback here today, but I would love to see a 700 print on this. I'll be completely honest with you. Portfolio is rocking today. Yeah, we're doing all right here.
ELAB getting mentioned here.
Okay, we'll see what SPY can do here. Let's go to ELAB.
So it's already running into that consolidation from earlier in the pre-market. It did get through to 225. That was the area where I was pegging that resistance, but we only printed above it. We haven't closed. So if we can start closing above that and make our way through the consolidation, we should see a nice move through 250, which is the outside of that consolidation channel, the top end.
Okay, that VWAP there at 234. We'll see if we can retake that or if that's going to be resistance 1 for the first trim. SUNE that you folks mentioned right out of the open, that popped to 218. Looks like it's actually trying to retake that as we speak here. Maybe a new high a day break. 218's got some stuff stopping it.
AHR was the one. That trend line break was
bang. Okay, so now I'm going to actually add it to didn't I just have it on my other chart?
We're getting a lot of these. I think the drone names and the space names are looking like they're kind of coming back as well. Let me look at my watch lists.
Really quickly here, Soon did take that 218 high. 225 is your new high, and I don't see a lot of sellers up there. Okay, now I do. So maybe there's one just kind of refreshing that. Nope, more new highs. 231, 232 on Soon. Congrats to anyone that was in that one. That was we told you that the movers didn't look all that good. Soon gave us a trade here at least.
Not seeing everything come back. Some names are coming back, but not everything.
Kathy's mentioning Nectar here. This has more continuation. Boy, Kathy, I'll tell you what, that pre-market, it was the push right out of the open yesterday above the pre-market highs that it sent. We're essentially taking another leg up here. Where's your target on this? Where does this stop?
Yeah, this is, I mean, I don't
look at the move on the daily.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out what the news was yesterday. I forget, but this looks like today it's on relative momentum.
Yeah, relative volume. I got to think 67 is got to be one of the resistance areas here. This is a previous double top from the end of last year. I don't know if we're going to have the strength to get through that, but I would watch that one here. Tesla call sweeps going off here. Tesla is absolutely ripping today. Right out of the open. Said goodbye to 420 and all you folks talking about morning blunts for whatever reason.
So, Nectar, I mean, there's a case you could make about, I think 65 or 66 being a resistance area, but you could also make a case that it's going to go over 70. I think we're getting really extended here too. I think this piece of news here about them proposing a 300 million public offering is a reason to stay vigilant. I think that you don't want to be in this if they're planning on making an offering.
Okay, well, thankfully we have resistance not far away from where we're at. Maybe it pushes to that. That'll give you a perfect trade there. Palantir getting mentioned here in the chat. Palantir pulling back. This actually at risk of breaking its pre-market lows and maybe probing an area lower. Memory is coming back. Let's take a look at Micron here. We looked at that and SanDisk. Okay, so this is in fact coming back in. How's SanDisk doing? Same deal. Anyone buying this pullback on the memory names?
Here we go with Beta. This is starting to get going here. It's slow. It's spready, but it's getting some movement. Meanwhile, AEHR 3720 now the high of the day. We opened in the 3174, I think. Great move here if you guys caught that.
Thinking about it, we definitely need to know the deets on the Vegas party that you're throwing for the chat from this AEHR move. So let us know when you have those deets finalized, and we'll meet you out there.
Hey, Retro, you're the one that made the decision to exit. I was just telling you my side of what I thought was going to happen with Palantir. This was you, sir. This is all you.
Okay.
I just think this is going down to 90. Sorry, go ahead.
No, it's totally fine. And I'm sorry for interrupting you, but I feel like for the first time in a couple of days, we have a notable option sweep here. JPM calls getting bought. The 330 calls that expire in May are on May 15th. I believe that's the May monthly contract. Where are you? Yep. No. Yes. So the monthly contract here for JPM traders spent $1.2 million on that options position, bought 800 contracts, 330. That trader sees JP Morgan higher, and that would actually challenge some of the all-time highs there. So big sweep there, JPM this morning. I'll let you know if I see anything else.
Happy to have helped you, Retro.
By the way, for that. What?
I was just saying, happy to have helped you, Retro. Stim also trying to get over $2. It's been trying to push up there so far this regular session. Hasn't been able to really close above VWAP yet. So just keep an eye on Stim. It's getting some attempts here. Or here comes the next attempt right now. MNTN, this went down to the 200 EMA, getting some support there for the time being. AEHR did print a slightly higher high in this regular session, but it's still trying to decide if it's going to go higher or come back in some more. What else here? PRFX, this is the one that I actually looked into, not doing a whole lot at all today. Beta just popped and almost to 21 and came back down to the 65 EMA where it's been getting support.
Soon might be consolidating here right at or above its VWAP. I've got VWAP there at 209. We want to see this maybe even trade sideways and then try and take out that high. That's SUNE.
Ken, that's not true. I've been wrong before. And I still, you know what? I just realized it's getting kind of dark in here. Let me go open my.
Okay, but take the compliment. You're never wrong. LOL.
Don't tell my wife.
That's good comment as he was walking away there about not telling his wife. Folks, we talked about Mattel earlier, on pace for its worst day in the company's history. It does look like maybe we've put in a bottom here at 14.5, but I wouldn't trust this. It is bouncing a little bit. It's really struggling to get above that pre-market high. No bueno here for Mattel. We'll see how this closes up.
All right.
And then
PRF
Hood also reported last night.
Yeah.
Sorry, 13.
Oh, go ahead.
Hood reported we're at 76. I think we had let me go back to my bigger chart here. I think we have a possible support area slightly lower, but I don't want to misspeak. So let me pull up the chart and see. Yep. So we are, yes. All right. So retest here maybe of 72. Last time we came into this was a previous breakout area and support area. Now we're coming back into 72. I would watch this. I think if we break down from this, we probably overshoot the 500. I would not be surprised if we really went down towards the volume point of control. The big volume shelf that we have down here, low 40s. I know that seems crazy given that Hood was, 140 not long ago. Hood, this to me looks weak. I think if it gives up 72, you're probably looking at prints in the 50s or 40s.
Is there a reason you like 72?
Yeah, we had marked this off. This was basically a previous breakout area. Then it was used as support back in June of 2025. We broke above it. We moved beneath it. We traded sideways for a few days, and then we moved away. Then we retested that exact area recently. What day was that we tested 72 to the downside? That was February 5th of this year.
Everything is coming in, by the way. Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah, it's okay. That 72 really does look like a important level there. And you're right about everything coming in. That SPY move, we talked about that maybe going to 700. Looks like 697 was the top there. Now we've started to come in a little bit here. We'll see what we end up doing here with the SPY.
The reason I was asking about that particular level is because if you go to a monthly chart on Hood, we pretty much got support from the 20-month SMA. I think this is, going to have to be the spot that holds up, because if it doesn't, I think you're going to end up going down, maybe even under 60. Do you not have the 20?
No, this sorry, I I have different charts here. I was trying to change it, but I'm doing too much moving around here. 13. This is my fault. Here's your monthly. Here's your 20-month that we just got support from.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
No problem. So that's what I've noticed, and this represents like a 53% drop from the high. So it could still go lower, but I think this is it got cut in half. I think this is kind of the spot where we might get some support. We'll see how right or wrong that is, but to me, it looks like this is an area where we could go sideways for a little bit. Okay. Maybe we do go lower, but I think the support needs to kind of happen here. And the momentum on the monthly chart is kind of indicating that this could still go lower.
Okay. We'll see. I love this, though. Our chat, it looks like we've got a couple of people that like it at 70, 73, 75. The chart maybe saying that it's going to go lower. That's what makes the market. We'll see what Hood does here from this area. Tom asking about IGV, which has been a ETF that we've been talking about here recently. What happened to IGV? We talked about this bouncing recently. Folks, I warned you, though, that this week was going to be important for this. I told you that Datadog was going to report, App was going to report, and Unity was going to report. Now, what's happening? This is down by 1.1% here today. Guys, Unity reported earnings yesterday and is getting absolutely smoked here today. This is getting Fargoed. Minus 30% here on Unity. This chart actually looks somewhat similar to IGV. You can see we broke beneath 25. This is sure looking to probe another area lower here on Unity. I would say next spot that I have is 17.
It might do them well to change their name to Division. I'll be here. I'll be here until 10:30.
Oh man, we're trying.
It's the opposite of Unity. It's going the opposite direction that people want.
We are trying here today. There's no question about that. Okay, I don't really have anything great on the scanner here either.
No, it's really just the names that we've been talking about. AEHR is setting up to try and push through this $37 area. We haven't closed above that on the 5-minute chart. We've had some prints above it. It looks to me like that's the spot we're trying to get through here. Let me see if there's any sellers in the way. Okay, so the largest amount of sellers I see on the price ladder here is at 37. So if we just get enough volume, we could just chomp right through that.
Thinking about it, say on Unity, I got killed years ago shorting it on bad earnings. So be careful with that. Interesting, though, Unity is breaking lower here.
Solid dad joke. I appreciate it. Thanks,
yeah.
Brian.
Tracy's saying it's an open mic day here.
Yeah, it is. All right, so a lot of weakness in these names that we've been looking at here. Stim, that had a nice, it had a nice move up like a lot of these other things, but then when the market all pulled simultaneously, it pulled this with it. AEHR also got a little bit of a pull, but we are holding above 35.50. ELAB still trying to get some support from the 200 EMA on the 5-minute. And PRFX is doing a whole lot of nothing.
ELAB here actually might be breaking its 200 really quick there. Sean, good to see you again. You had asked about Ondas. Sean, you had said here, let me get the actual comment here. Ondas chart, gotta buy more. Yeah, I can't tell you that. Here's the one thing that we'll take a look here at the chart. It is riding this trend line. Now, the recent bounce move that we had, which looks like it bounced off the previous trend line, recaptured the 100 and recaptured the 50 and the trend line. But now we broke that 50. I think we actually closed beneath that. Let me see what the closing price of this candle was.
Look at
1034. We actually closed beneath the 50. So we found some resistance there. Sean, here's what I would say. If it can hold this trend line, maybe we start for another test here at the 50. But I'll be honest with you, man, I don't know that you need to buy this until this can meaningfully hold above its 50-day. Because if this comes back in and re-challenges this low at 841, maybe you would try again there. Maybe you would try off a bounce off the trend line. I would say for feeling the need to add here, I would definitely want this to hold above the 50. And right now on the recent bounce shows that it has not had the strength to do that.
Look at TDC. This is interesting. Look at the move it's had today. This is off earnings they had yesterday. It is a software company. Okay,
so what's interesting about this is that this moved into a big time gap.
Yeah.
This gap doesn't fill till about 48 and change, maybe even 49.
Short squeeze Canada as well. Just under 10% of the float short with over 6 days to cover.
So this was the trifecta again. Positive results from the previous quarter, guide above estimates for the next quarter, guide above for the full year.
Yeah.
So
maybe this goes to 44, tops 48.
10% of the float shorted, 6 days to cover. Not bad. That's Terra. What does this one do again? Teradata?
They have like business solutions with using AI, I believe.
Okay, so harmonized data, trusted AI, Teradata, Vintage Cloud, Teradata. The company generates majority of revenue from the United States. Okay, Teradata, that's a pretty good report there. Ondas bouncing here. So all I had to do, Sean, was poo-poo it, and now it is bouncing 30 cents. That's cool. Unity is doing its best to hold on to 20.
Yeah. Is the Pam Bondi testimony at 10 going to be at all market moving? What's it regarding? Is it regarding ICE or what? Tell me what it's regarding, and I might be able to give you insight. But if it has nothing to do with anything financial, probably not.
Probably not. Yeah.
All right. So AEHR still trying to set up to push higher. TDC holding VWAP. PRFX still doing a whole lot of nothing. All right.
That was a pretty big disappointment in the way that thing moved.
I think it was, looking like it wasn't going to do a whole lot. I'm glad that we just kind of avoided it. I'm glad we avoided it. All right. So not a lot of names looking really good here. Looks like AEHR might be getting ready to make that push. Might happen here in just a minute. Just need to get that volume component going here. All the spenders red.
Yeah.
Amazon, Microsoft, Meta. I'm not seeing Google in that mix. Where are they at? They're a big spender.
Google's red too.
Okay.
It just wasn't on Jay's list, but it's red, and its chart looks the same as the other spenders.
Yeah, and that was one of the things I was pretty vocal about in the happy hour. It's a really big concern because we're talking these CapExes that are like, okay, so let me give you some perspective here. The Meta CapEx, and I think that's one of the lower ones that we've seen. That's
115 to 135. Yep.
That CapEx for this year is larger than the GDP for all the countries in the world except for 10 of them.
That's the lowest one you said.
I'm pretty sure when I looked that up, it was 10. Maybe I'm wrong about that number, but the point is there's not a lot of countries with GDP larger than what this CapEx is on these companies. It's ridiculous. So there's not a lot of countries out there that are able to spend $168 billion this year. Anyway.
Mag 7 is not going anywhere. That's Jay's big takeaway from this. Google right now looks like it's holding yesterday's intraday low.
They're not going to go anywhere, but they're all, getting hit today.
And you guys are mentioning Nectar here in an offering. Did we get news on that?
Yeah, well, that was yesterday. That was what I was.
I see. I'm sorry. Yeah. And so Ari Stockmark, now I understand. Nectar's going up after announcing an offering, a bit uncommon.
Right.
Looks like they like that though.
Yeah. Now that's proposed, so they haven't pulled the trigger on anything. So maybe on the day that event happens, you see the actual price action reaction. And
then Kathy here on CCHH. I don't think I've looked at that one here enough. Sorry about that. Here is your CCCH. This did move above the VWAP. I don't like the wicks above, but maybe that is going to end up turning up. Unity might be looking to break 20 to the downside. We are on 20 exactly right there. Actually, it did print a low. Oh, and by the way, soon, check this out. So this did flag up here, right? And then it took out those highs. So traded, flagged right around its VWAP here. Traded kind of right around it, and then bang, more new highs here. SUNE, this is probably our best mover of the day.
MNTN finally getting some life here. It's recaptured VWAP. It's coming up over the 65 EMA. Still has about a 10-15 cent spread. So just keep, be careful. It's a little illiquid, but it's coming up. Wonder if some of these other names are getting a lift as well. It looks like they
Okay.
kind of are.
13, let's let this settle out here.
Sure.
We have another all access update here, and it's actually just not, I'm going to spoil it here a little bit for you. It's actually going to be on VTIX. So 13, we're going to put you in the back here, or well, both of us are going to be put in the back. We're going to do the all access, and then we're going to be right back here. All right.
Sounds good. I'll be
take it
here.
away. Hey Zingers, welcome back to another episode of All Access, where we follow up with our friend Jan Gutkeluk, founder and CEO of Virtuix, ticker VTIX on the NASDAQ. All Access starts right now. Hey Jan, welcome back. Good to see you again. How you doing?
Hey Ryan, good to see you again.
All right, let's dive right into it. Look, I have been producing a lot of news recently. You just announced an international expansion. Can you tell me what that means for the company?
Yeah, this is a first for us. So historically, we've been focused on the US, our home market, but now for the first time, we're going to start selling Omni One, our consumer system, internationally, first now in Europe. EU countries and UK as well. So this is the first as it's part of our growth. As you remember, we reported 138% year-over-year growth for the 6 months ended 9/30. And so we're growing, we're ready to scale. And I mentioned the first time we spoke, we're just only getting started. We're only scratching the surface. So now us expanding internationally with our consumer business is the first step to really accelerate our growth going forward.
Okay, now when will Omni One be available and at what price?
Yep, the first containers are on the way, and we'll start delivering the first units around mid-April, and orders start today. You can find the links on our website to those customers and fans that we have in Europe. Now, finally, for the first time, you can order an Omni One system for your home in Europe. The price will be €2,995 for EU countries and £2,795 in the UK.
Okay, sounds good. I know everyone's been wondering. Look, can you tell me more about your growth plans?
Yeah, we're ready to scale. We have a production capacity in place to produce 3,000 units a month. That's about $100 million in annual revenue potential. So we're ready to scale our consumer business. We call this product also sometimes a Peloton for gamers because it's that kind of product. It's gaming, but it also allows people to exercise, to get their steps and to burn calories while video gaming. And so that's very exciting. It's catching on in the US, and now driving our growth going forward. We're going to take this internationally.
Yeah, you're reading my mind. The press release talked about a Peloton for gamers. Is there anything else you can tell us about that?
Yeah, it's a gaming system first, but we did a test. If you play an action game on our device for about an hour, you burn about 700 calories. We had one customer lose 40 pounds in 4 months just playing on our system. So, if you like to be more fit, but you don't like to exercise, but you like gaming, this is a product for you. We get people off the couch onto their feet. It's gaming, it's entertainment, but you're getting your steps in while doing so.
Yeah, maybe that'll break some of those barriers down. That's really, really exciting. Look, the last time we spoke, we talked about your system and how it applies to the defense sector. Is that included in the international expansion you talked about?
That's separate, but certainly on our defense system, that's also an international product, even though we're focused first on the U.S. military, U.S. Army, Marine Corps, to some extent, and even U.S. Air Force. But also allies, NATO countries, for example. As we discussed last time, our strategy for our company is really that dual-use strategy where we have our high-volume consumer business with Omni One, that Peloton for gamers system that's ready to scale, that's ready to grow, and then we supplement those high-volume consumer sales with potentially high-margin defense contracts with our virtual terrain walk system, where you can walk the terrain before you fight on it, walk the battlefield before you put boots on the ground with our technology, which is revolutionary. So that is our strategy. And the defense system is for international customers as well, but certainly first aiming for the US market. We've sold systems already to Yokota Air Force Base, US Air Force Academy, as well as the military academy at West Point. We just shipped a unit there as well. So initial traction in the US, but then we'll expand on that internationally as well.
Okay, that's amazing. And we'll just wrap it up with this. Why else should investors be excited in general?
Yeah, I mean, look, we're just getting started. We went public on NASDAQ 2 weeks ago. The main purpose for that was to get access to capital. We raised $11 million with that process, $50 million equity line of credit that we can tap into opportunistically. But the key is this, we're growing 138% growth, and we want to keep driving our growth, keep growing in US internationally, both on the consumer side and the defense side, especially with those AI-driven 3D reconstruction technologies we discussed last time, where now we can very quickly make these beautiful photorealistic virtual worlds, replicas of the real world. Incredible. We can do that in hours. And how are you going to walk around in that with our technology, with the Omni? So we're ready to scale our technology into consumer, defense, and other markets. And look, we invite investors to join our journey. We have an exciting future ahead.
It is exciting. I enjoy it, and I can't thank you enough for taking time to talk about it here. Jan, I look forward to following up with you as always. Thanks for joining us here today.
Thanks, Ryan.
All right, folks, and I hope that you will join us on the next time for another exciting All Access. In the meantime, we're going to kick it back to Ryan. All right. Thanks, Ryan. Thanks, 13, for sticking around. Let's go ahead and bring Pro back in here. Yeah, I see some confusion here in the chat, folks. We've followed up with Jan several times. This was an update, so it's not just the same content being played. Those units are shipped and available. By the way, while that was happening, SPY is also giving back some of its gains here. We'll see if it can hold 694. That 694, 693 area has been key in the past. We're pulling back to that area now. Maybe there's a potential bounce spot here, but watching this spot here on the SPY.
Yeah, so you think, what was the price you were thinking on SPY that we bounce at?
I'm just noting that previously the 693 and 694 areas have provided some areas of resistance, and so I'm almost wondering if a back test of that area leads to a bounce. I don't know if we're going to, but after the data here today, I'd be looking at that. I also have a pivot here from my pivot study that is at 693.5, almost right on the dot.
All right. Yeah, so I have a previous all-time high at 693.96. So that's probably going to end up being some support area.
Okay.
And don't have a whole lot else to really talk about on the SPY at the moment.
Nope. I just noticed that it was pulling back after we got that data there.
Still more sideways action. Not making any new all-time highs. Seems like this is about where the sellers start to step in. What is going to take us out of this consolidation?
Cloudflare, they reported earnings here. They actually are struggling to stay above the VWAP. Did notice some puts getting bought there on Cloudflare. Those are going to be near-term puts. That's this week. That looks like a short-term trade, maybe a regression back to the mean. And actually, it was interesting. Saw a whole bunch of call flow right after the open. It seems like that's kind of turned over to put flow now. Here's Palantir, by the way, new lows.
All right, let's see here, because we keep getting the Pam Bondi testimony, and it looks like it's going to be regarding the Epstein-related files. So I'm not sure that there's necessarily going to be anything here that's going to be market moving.
I don't either. And Pretty Panda, to your notion here that this was going to be on cannabis reform or cannabis names, I don't think there's any expectation for this presentation on that. I think this is probably going to be about the stuff that came out yesterday. We're back in 2006. Trump called the police and told him that Epstein was dangerous and to go after Maxwell. So I don't think that's going to have any impact on stocks.
PRFX. Finally, some signs of life. It's at one resistance area.
Here we go.
It's at one resistance area. The next resistance from here, I think, is going to be about 375, 380. You look at what the price ladder has for us. Certainly, there are all kinds of sellers up in that area starting at 371. So there's some resistance to the upside here, but not before you may be able to capture 10 cents if that's what you want to do. Like we're just kind of getting. What's up?
Are we thinking maybe 340, 344? What's the break spot here because I'm looking at this chart, I'm looking at the range, I'm looking at where the VWAP is, and I'm thinking if there's any type of volume push here, a move up to that 430 area makes a lot of sense. What's the trigger for this? I feel like we can't get above the 15 or the 9. I've got that at 339 and 344 as those spots.
I mean, I would say it's as we approach 360 at this stage, it's going to have to be more volume because there's sellers starting to pile up at lower prices now. So we need to see the volume increase to get through all that. So watch for volume expansion. I don't think there's going to be like a catalyst that's going to come out and drive this thing higher. I think it's just going to have to be this getting noticed and participants stepping in.
Okay, so volume flow is really going to dictate whether or not we get a trade here. PRFX.
AEHR came down to the VWAP. It looked like it was trying to curl back up a little while ago, but hasn't been able to yet.
This looks like a VWAP test there. We'll see if that holds.
I was getting a mention.
I actually refreshed my platform. I don't think I'm getting quote updates here.
Verizon is back up to its 52-week high. Certainly it is. It's been having a nice climb. This is another, sign of, there's a flight to safety or these growth names pay high dividends, but this is very extended here to the upside. And as a matter of fact, all right. Okay, Ryan, you ready for another trend line?
Yeah, sorry. I was just trying. Give me one sec. QVC Group. Is this the jewelry, the online jewelry? Yeah, social shopping company with 6 retail brands. This is the home shopping network QVC. This stock's actually up 70% here. I don't see any news on this, but this thing absolutely ripping here after yesterday's debacle. Okay, what did you want me to draw the trend line on?
It would be on Verizon for that QVC group. That might be off of the jobs report. More people have jobs, they can buy shit. So that's a thought. That's a thought there. With Verizon, draw a trend line from the January 2023 high through the March 2025 high, and we are right there, about to approach that very trend line if we're not already on it. Yeah. So
man, this candle has totally messed up my chart. What am I doing? January 2023 high, got it. Yeah. And then through where?
March 2025.
Which is going to be right here, right? Yep. So this gives us the target there. That's the trend line. Let me make it easier for you folks to see. Here it is.
Yeah. And now this combined with the high RSI, I get the sense that we might be finding some topping action here pretty soon. Maybe we see 49, because that would be a bit of a gap fill from 2022 in July. So I could see that potentially happening. But after that, I'm not sure we're going to go a whole lot higher. I get the sense that this is going to turn around pretty soon. It's been on a really great run, but it's overextended now. And I think you're going to run into some selling. Long 200 shares of Verizon at 37 for the dividend. You got a great price, and you also got a great dividend yield. Congratulations on that. Hey, see, look, wisdom with his weed brain got a great idea. I'm just kidding, man. It's a T-shirt idea. People with jobs buy shit. We should have Powell on the front there, as if he said it. All right. It doesn't look like there's a whole lot of great things happening here. I'm not seeing, the movers have been awful today. So
no, they really have. I don't see any of these that I want to trade, and I'm like trying. You guys are mentioning GNRC. Several of you mentioned GNRC. They reported earnings here. They're marching higher. Not necessarily a mover. Pretty good if you had that, though.
That's on more on a wellness side, right? No, that's Generac. I'm sorry.
That's Generac. Yeah, GNRC.
Generac. What are we doing here today, Generac? Oh, they had earnings. Okay. This one. Now, because this is more of a hurricane play, I don't know how much upside we're going to get with this. I think we could end up going to like 225. And that might be a tough spot for Generac to go a whole lot higher, especially with the price kind of being overextended just a little bit. It could still climb some more. I'm thinking 220, 225 before you run into some resistance problems.
Okay. So there's still some room here on Generac if that's going to keep going.
Yeah, it's just not a whole lot more from here.
Did you want to take a look at the health and wellness company? That's GNC.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking when I first saw it.
It's not actually.
No.
That's not actually a stock yet.
No.
Okay.
No, I'm glad that somebody knew what I was getting at there, but I just mixed the tickers up.
Man, the pullbacks continue here. Palantir, more new lows here today. Tesla gave back that entire pop that the options market was trading.
Oh, they trapped so many bulls.
It's a trap.
Netflix looks like it's going to challenge breaking 80 to the downside. Bitcoin, by the way, you know what? Maybe it's Bitcoin again. This thing traded up to 69,000, immediately reversed. We're back down here at 66.5 on the futures.
Okay, now this is a good mention here. By the way, we'll get to what is it? Chevron in a minute here. And you know, I'm not here to argue facts. GNRC, great idea for the freeze play. But you know, as we've talked about before, it's more of like a hurricane play. But I think you still nailed that. Now, with regard to what Retro Texas is saying, is Nokia riding coattails, or is it legitimately getting stronger? The thing is that there over in Europe, there was this, I believe, this plan to use Huawei, components and technology for their infrastructure, and I think the EU decided to scrap that and go with Nokia. So they have that build out plan now, and I think that's why you're seeing Nokia do better. I think Ericsson might also be involved with that, but I can't say for sure. Looking at the Nokia chart, this looks like it's doing much better. Got some great support from $6, moved through this resistance area I had at 680. This looks to me like it might want to try 8 again. And it has room to go. So that's what I think is happening here with Nokia. This does have a legitimate upside because they got the EU contract over Huawei.
MSTZ, I don't see Jamie Dimon around here today, but this is the inverse MSTR ETF. This is ripping here, which means MSTR rolling back over, more new lows. This clearly moving with Bitcoin today. By the way, VIX at 1760.
Okay, Pretty Panda giving a little bit of insight here. I get what you're saying now, because I think what he's saying to me is the concern was, even though it's a DOJ hearing regarding the Epstein files, there's lines of questioning that may not cover the Epstein files, might cover other things. So I guess that's we were saying it might. It's not so much of what they're going to be focused on, but what could get asked to Pam Bondi. I think that's what you're saying. They're Pretty Pen, and in that sense, I agree that that's worth watching. Nokia has an optical division too, says Jay Rice. So that's yes. Now they fiber optics, right? Is that the optical division you're talking about? Is fiber optics? Because that would make sense since infrastructure build out for communications.
Mo here saying, really looking forward to when the small caps can breathe again. You and me both, buddy. I feel like the global tensions are keeping them down. Also, we're not sure on interest rates, right? We just had Hammock yesterday saying that they're not going to talk about cutting rates until inflation reaches the 2% target. Seems like that's just kind of getting kicked down the road a little bit. And I would imagine that's also impacting some of those small caps. Still don't see anything great off of the scanner. And for those of you that are worried, Ondas continues to get pounded here today. Told you probably wait that out. Told you it probably wasn't to buy. More new lows here. ONDS.
Nectar near top daily. I also looked at VRT. We did go up to 250, and now we're backing off. So we'll see if we hold above the trend line that we drew. If we don't, then I think that could be more of a sign that we may end up gap filling. But the ideal outcome we want from this gap up here is a floating island. So we need to see some prices hold. I would think 225 is where we would want to see this hold.
Market continuing to pull across the board. SPY, Dow, and NASDAQ all at the lows here. Let me see if there was anything else that came out that we might have missed.
Let's see. I mean, you're looking at SPY news?
Yeah, I'm looking at the SPY news here. This is regarding the debt. Growth strengthens in 2026 and moderates in later years. They're forecasting the debt to rise and that being an issue. Don't really see anything else on here. UN should be paying much less on borrowings. So we'll see. 692 looks to be the SPY test here. We'll see if that ends up holding here. Excuse me.
Man, it's really fallen. And, we talked a lot about how Lunar New Year is going to result in a lot less participation in U.S. markets since the Asian markets will be closed until not next week, but the week after. So we could end up seeing a lot more of this, and we also could be seeing a lot of deleveraging as we go into a long weekend. So it could be a combination of all those things.
Look at Shopify. Shopify is down 8.5%. This was after it was up. What was it, like 6% post earnings?
Yeah, they're getting refunded.
Yeah, 12% post earnings. This thing has big time reversal. 145, 30-point reversal here in Shopify, peak to trough. Wisdom here saying Bitcoin new entry level 56K. So you're actually looking for a break at the 60K level that we've talked about quite a bit.
Let me see.
60 to 65 was our last one.
Okay, chart. Oh, you know what? This isn't the chart that has all my
Chipotle at the lows. SOLT, the Solana ETF, lows. Man, everything is getting pounded.
Okay, get those shopping lists ready.
That's what I'm saying. Let it come in.
Let's see. So 56K for Bitcoin. That's at the bottom, toward the bottom end of the channel from 2024. If Bitcoin hits 25K, you might buy a bit. I'm not a Bitcoin bull whatsoever, but even I don't know that we're going to go to 25K. I don't know that I see that. And there's whales that are just gobbling up Bitcoin right now at these prices. So I'm not sure that they're going to stop doing that. I think that's going to continue.
TECS, this is actually the Technology Bear 3X ETF. We talked about this on Happy Hour. This made a little bit of a dip and rip here today. Soon gave up 2. So that trade might be done now. That's coming back. And boy, I don't see anything to the long side here, guys, at all.
Well, what's the heat map?
Anything on my radar.
What's the heat map telling us today? I mean, what is it? Is it a flight to safety?
Here's your market overview.
Kind of looks like it.
Yeah, Apple is still holding higher. Nvidia is still holding higher here. Consumer staples, industrials, and energy, your leading sectors, 13. Financials, consumer discretionary, communication services, IT, all hit. IT has pockets in it. The memory names, actually. Yeah, the memory names, the greenest part of the information technology. That's buoying that a little bit.
Look at remember we looked at XLP yesterday. This is the consumer staples sector for State Street. This thing has been the best performer, I think, so far of all of the sector ETFs. I think I've looked at all of them, and I've determined that this is the best performer. Maybe I'm wrong, but I think I've looked at all the other ones, I think, and they don't have this kind of move that we've been putting in since the start of the year. So consumer staples might be the play for the time being.
A lot of the inverse ETFs showing up on the scanner list here. Lyft bounce, that immediately got sold. We talked about Unity earlier getting hit. Unity has printed more new lows. This thing broke 20. Mattel was another one that was getting smoked earlier. That's actually down 27%. So that's held its low so far.
I'm not here to argue facts. Is asking how much Bitcoin is available to buy, just to understand it. So I don't think I would be so concerned about how much is available, because there's a lot of companies like Hood, for example, that are basically creating making Bitcoin tradable on their platform by putting it in trust accounts. So you're not actually owning Bitcoin, you're owning the right to Bitcoin when you're trading it on those platforms. So it's not even so much that how much is available as much as it is how many financial products are out there that allow you to have the right to own Bitcoin. So
could he have meant how much is left to mine?
I mean, if he's asking how much is left of mine, I think that's a finite number.
And I was going to say, I think that's around only 1 million Bitcoins left to mine.
I don't know the exact number.
Yeah, I don't know the exact number, but I'm pretty sure it's around 1 million. Day Trader might know. I don't know if he's still here.
But I don't think it's a supply issue because companies are just going to come up with more financial products, like the one Hood has, in order to let people think they have ownership and be able to make trades. Buffalo Bicycle saying that all the telecoms are strong: Verizon, AT&T, and T-Mobile. I mean, to me that's kind of one of the indicators that we could be coming up to a recession. We're starting to see a lot of this movement into some of these, safer names, the traditional safety names like, utilities and defense and consumer staples, and the telecoms. A lot of the dividend paying names, the high dividend paying names. So I'm not saying a recession is for sure happening. I'm not saying that we're we can see it at the end of the tunnel. I'm saying these are some of the early signs that we might be getting into one. So it bears worth watching.
And one more thing, just to kind of add on, just kind of playing devil's advocate on the other side of what 13's talking about here. We are in the seasonally second weakest period for the market all year, and it doesn't stop until mid-March.
Yeah.
So it's possible here that, especially given that the SPY or the broader market up near all-time highs here, possible that this is just maybe the spot that we move down from. Again, mid-March is when that seasonality flips.
Joe, think of it as like a stock, like how we're owning a part of a company on paper. You're owning Bitcoin on paper. That's essentially what Hood's doing. Look, I'm not going to argue with you on that, Wisdom. It's a software, not an asset. If it's an item that people think have value, then it'll get it classified as an asset.
Yep.
But if it's not something you want to own, then you don't consider it an asset, then don't own it. But that's just, it's what everybody says it is. So if there's a general agreement that it's an asset, then I guess it's an asset.
And a lot of that pullback still happening here. Futures still dropping. Yeah. Financials still dropping. Tesla, that went green red, which I did not think was going to happen. VIX now 18.5.
Wisdom, look, I remember it wasn't that long ago. It was like 5 years ago. Remember NFTs? That's essentially shit in a box.
Or a picture of it.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, that was even better. Because Bitcoin would actually be the S in a box, but a picture of that would be the NFT. You're right. And yes, I'm not here to argue facts. Market due for a pullback correction. We have been waiting for this to happen. We want to see this, this pullback, this correction.
We've been raising cash in order to prepare for a pullback.
That's it. We want this to happen. Absolutely.
So looks like someone is buying Ondas calls into this move down here. The 12 calls that expire in January of next year. So some leaps here on Ondas into the weakness. A lot of selling volume. More NVIDIA put sweeps. This is a reversal of what we saw right out of the open.
Feeling like a sit on the hands kind of day.
Sure is to me, man. I have not done anything here today. And I don't look like I'm in a rush. I will update you. So yesterday, while we were off the show, I did peel half of my position on Amer Sports. We have been talking about waiting for this thing to break 40. It did, technically, actually went to 41 and change. So I took half the call position off there. I had added when this thing came back in. Got a little bit left here, but honestly, I'm going to put a stop in here at about 275 on those calls. If this thing comes in at all, we're just going to run for it. It didn't work as fast as I had hoped. The expiry that we had there is going to be in March. So we'll see here on Amer Sports, but at least on the move up yesterday, took half of that off to book some gains. This is a chest, shoulders, gym day. Retro, that's not a bad idea. It is not a bad idea. And I also don't think so. Looking at these pullbacks here, I don't think that it's necessarily the time to buy any of these yet. I mean, maybe you have a long-term dollar cost average strategy that you're looking at, but I mean, if we're going to pull back, we want this to pull back more. We don't need to add on the first.
You know what I just thought about was that meme that I posted that I made just before happy hour. This is, the timing of this is actually pretty good. Do you want to pull it up? Because I was looking at the weekly chart of the SPY. I was looking at these candles, and I was just thinking to myself, that looks awful. And it looks like this could be upper shadow signaling that downside is coming. Yeah, exactly. Look at those candles. And now look at them today. Those are 3 ugly looking candles. And I think that this might be signaling that we're going to be coming down to, I don't know, but we could be losing the 20 week SMA at some point soon. And that's been the big moving average that's held up all this price action since May. Take your line.
13's also our meme guy, it turns out.
Yeah. Yeah, I am. Yeah, and folks talking about going and getting some exercise and going outside, absolutely, because it doesn't look like this is worth sticking around for today in the markets. It's just a lot of selling. So unless you're taking short positions or getting ready for or looking for some opportunities, I don't know that there's really anything to do in the markets until we stop seeing that selling. Merck is testing higher. I'm sorry, testing yesterday's highs. Okay, gotcha.
That's Merck.
MRK. Yep.
By the way, HIMS, we talked yesterday about this trend line that we originated back in June of 2024. You had me draw this yesterday. Looks like we're running right into that here today. Look at this. We bounced off of it on Monday. Looks like we're going to test that here again. It might be perfect depending on how you draw your lines. I don't feel good here about HIMS at all. But just mentioning, coming into a support there.
Looking at Merck, like on a longer term chart, like a weekly, this move that we had last week in the first week of February, that took us all the way up to the consolidation from 2024. That's going to be an area that we might go back and forth with until we get through it. That consolidation is going to be from about 2250 all the way up to about 3250, and looks like 130 is going to be a tough spot as well.
Michael, awesome that you're killing it. We'll give you a register ring for that. What are you shorting? Been an amazing short the past couple of days. What are you in? HIMS?
Man, lots of stuff.
I just don't see anything interesting like this. No. This is so if I wasn't on camera right now, I would absolutely be getting up and doing something else. HIMS and Palantir. Okay. Well, hey, you know what? Glad you're actually banking off the down move there. That's fantastic. We've been kind of waiting that out. A lot of us are long side traders here. But awesome job. Awesome job hitting that. Raise that cash on the short side for when we bottom out. That is a great move.
PLTZ has been really good lately. This is now approaching 40 again.
Jim says, I'm going to the simulator. What's your favorite sim technology? Is it TrackMan? Is it Foresight? What is it, Jim?
And then let's look at RGTZ because that one was great last week. Okay, so this is nice.
I was going to say, I got to imagine those quantums are getting hammered today.
Well, they on Friday, because remember, I wasn't around for it, but Friday apparently was a really good day for the market. Lots of bullish activity.
It felt to me, 13, since you weren't around for it, it felt to me like after a week of getting pounded, we had a little bit of short covering into the weekend as the Bears did their victory lap. That's what it felt like. Anne Marie agreed.
Yeah, and RGTZ that day on Friday, it gave a lot of that week back, pretty much all of that week. And now here we are getting ready to start doing this again. Curious to see what happens when we get past 28. But this thing created another opportunity.
Okay. So we're getting some news here. Breaking: the Department of War took action to disable Mexican cartel drones. that breached U.S. airspace. That is what prompted the FAA to close the El Paso airspace. So that, I know we talked about that a little bit earlier. I didn't have any of that news. I'm seeing this on X, so I guess you'd say that's unconfirmed there. But initial reports are the El Paso, Texas airspace was closed down due to Mexican cartel drones. Whisk going to try taking a starter on PRFX.
I wonder where those drones are coming from. Could it be from China?
Good luck on this one, Whisk.
Next, they're about to have FAFO.
They're about to be in the find out stage.
They took a look at Venezuela and thought, nah, it'll be fine.
That sonic weapon won't work against us.
Mm-hmm.
Next thing you know, they're all shitting themselves on the floor. We'll see.
Put it in a box. It's worth something.
Oh God, you're really tying everything back together here today, folks. This is what happens when the market gives us really no opportunities to trade here, and I guess unless you're a continuation of some of your short instruments.
All right, so here we are with SPY. We are down to, actually, we just lost the 20-day SMA. 50-day SMA is next. That's going to be down at 687 and 24 cents. If we don't rebound, we're getting an engulfing candle here today. Did Delta spike on the news? Fell after the big spike. Let's look at some of the airlines. I think a lot of these airlines really needed to come in anyway. It's unfortunate this was the news that started doing it. Delta looks like it popped initially, and then yeah, it is coming back in. We're in we're in Friday's candle right now.
Part of me wonders if this move up was on the jobs number 13.
Well, I think all the moves up were on that rosy jobs number. I think that's what was giving everything a lift today. Was, oh, hey, the jobs, people, unemployment's not as bad as we thought. It's actually going lower, and people have jobs and this and that. And so that was the initial pop, and then we got all this other news. United Airlines is one that I've thought for a while needs to come back in. They've been on a massive run since Liberation Day.
What do we think about Cisco? I mean, I think it allows the internet to do what it does. I don't have any line for the report itself, to be honest with you, on Cisco. I wouldn't play that for the earnings. But it's another kind of picks and shovels play in AI infrastructure, internet infrastructure play.
Yeah.
If anyone else has a thought on the earnings print for Michael, let him know.
Well, on a monthly chart, to me, this looks like you've got some pretty good support at 80 if it comes back in. For the past, since looks like November, December, and January, those were 3 months where the price is trying to capture 80, and it wasn't able to do it until February. So if we're going to want to see more upside, we're going to want to see this hold above 80. And and I don't know that we're going to do all that because this thing is super extended. We're at all-time highs. I'm more on the side of this could come back into 80 first, and I don't know what's going to happen. Maybe it goes sideways for a bit.
Okay, 13. This is normally when we'd wrap here, but I don't know how much we have. There was not a whole lot of movers here. Soon gave you guys a trade early. Hasn't really done much since then. As far as some of the other names here, even these memory names came back in.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have anything else that you want to wrap up here before we turn it over to the story trading folks?
No, they probably have some better stuff to look at than I do. The movers not great today. A lot of things kind of fading. VRT, the one that I thought was going to probably pop and then maybe come back in, that has faded a bit, but we're still above the trend line. So I still think this is going to be great for the long haul. But today's it's not that the day, and it could be like this all week, and it could be like this next week as well. We don't have a lot of participation in the markets right now while Lunar New Year goes on and the Asian markets are closed. So, and then we have a short week next week with the long weekend coming up from President's Day. So I don't think that there's going to be a whole lot of exciting things short of any news developments happening. It's probably going to be a headline-driven market. We'll see what ends up happening.
Yeah, and so as far as your Lunar New Year calendar, there was something else that we discussed last night. That Lunar New Year ends and market participants return on the 23rd.
Mm-hmm.
That week on the 25th, we get NVIDIA to report. And we are expecting NVIDIA to put up a good number. How they trade is a different story, but we're expecting a good number out of them.
We get NVIDIA, and we also might get a SCOTUS tariff ruling as well. So we'll keep an eye open for that one. But lots of things coming up here. Might be headwinds. We'll have to wait and see.
Okay, 13 really good stuff here today. I know it wasn't the greatest day, but the effort was there. We appreciate you. We'll catch you on happy hour, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Sounds good. Take care, folks. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Goodbye.
All right, that is 13. He leaves room for the story trading, folks. Let's check in with Ben, Rhett, and Laptop Travel. Boy, my little menu thing is all weird there. Sorry about that, Ben. Ben, how you doing?
I'm doing well.
Okay. I no offense, I don't believe you, but it does not look great out there. What do you got on deck for us here today?
You should believe him today. He had a good day.
Yeah. We'll get into the macro, but I guess I got to start off with what my great day was about. It's air. I'm the air whisperer. I don't know if you ever saw my original thesis that was on Benzinga, Ryan. It went kind of viral like many years ago. If you haven't seen it, maybe I'll email it to you. But
please do. I'm sorry, I can't recall it off the top of my head.
Yeah, it was my very first time that I was on Benzinga with Luke back in the day. Is Luke still with you guys?
Nope.
No? Oh, he was a nice guy. Anyway, but yeah, Air Whisper, that was when I got in at $2.50, and I told you guys it could go to like $50 or something, and then and it happened. It was crazy. I know this company really well. I've been waiting for this press release. They got a big AI contract this morning. They do their press releases every morning at 7:30 a.m. So what do? I have an alarm at 7:29 a.m. and I have my newsfeed ready. I have my newsfeed ready, and I look for Air press releases, and I was looking for an AI production contract. We got that AI production contract. I went to about a 45% position in pre-market on Air, and then within the first 3 candles of the day, I sold. I was all out there by, I don't know, $35, and my account's at a high for the year. So that was my day, Ryan.
All right. I'm going to get out of your way. At least you're killing it. Good stuff here, Ben. Take it away.
All right. Now I'm giving some back on the longs that I do have, but after I had that big win, I decided to scale back a lot of stuff because I don't need to take risk too much right now. What is going on? Actually, maybe I got to lean more on Laptop and Rhett to figure out what the hell's going on. I did mention this morning after the really strong jobs numbers came in that I'm like, well, this is not good for IWM. I'm like, I don't know why IWM's up. I suggested maybe a pair trade would be long QQQ, short IWM, which would have net worked. I didn't do it, but I suggested that. I don't know. There's some Fed comments. Laptop, why don't you take it from here? What got the market turned around here?
Yeah, so we had Governor Schmidt who said that he doesn't feel that interest rates are cuts are called for right here. That we need to sit back and observe more is basically what it was. And with the lack of data that is still forthcoming. Another thing I might add is most people may or may not know is I'm on the other side of the world right now. Dealing with home issues for future vacation home. And we're going into the Asian Chinese New Year, Lunar New Year. And so a lot of Asian traders are off, and Asian markets are closed through, I believe, February 23rd. So that's also going to affect the U.S. markets.
Yeah, I heard them on the tail end of the previous judges talking about that. I didn't know that really has an impact, but that's interesting. Rhett, you were I don't know what got you to get into those QQQ puts. You made I don't know how you made out ultimately, but I know you got into QQQ puts. What was your trigger for that?
The market was acting a little weird this morning. So I was just looking at it, and I was just playing pure off technical play. So I wasn't reading too much into like the macro or anything, but I saw that price was starting to fail here and we were going to start heading down on the Qs. But I only got a 67% return today on the Qs, and I would have been like up almost 500% if I would have left it run.
Okay.
So
I did jump into the 608 calls for Friday.
So that's the next thing I was going to say. I actually like that move here because I think, going back to what I just said here, higher rates on strong job numbers, that's not good for risk assets and IWM, but it bothers QQQ SPY in the long term. In fact, as I said earlier this morning on the show, in that big market pullback that we had, I guess it was like over here. I guess it was like 2021 to 2023. There was like an initial pullback because of worries about rates, but then the market exploded while, well ahead. Like, look at this. This is way ahead of any talk of rate cuts, right? From 2022 to 20, now, until we're finally starting to get the rate cuts. But this move in the QQQ SPY, this was opposite of still what was happening in RK, growth stocks, IWM. For about 2-3 years while QQQ SPY were ripping, they were still stagnant or going down, right? And that's because these big caps, they don't need rate cuts, right? So kind of throwing the baby out with the bathwater is like, oh, risk off doesn't mean equities off. It means small caps off. It means growth stocks off because they need access to capital. Interest rates matter to them. What the Qs care about are that people have jobs to buy their products and people have jobs. So, I think this is kind of an overreaction in the Q. So I actually like your move here, John, to buy the dip. I suggested like when the QQQ gap fills today, I went right through the gap fill though, went green to red, but I think that trade might work out for you.
Yeah, I feel really good about that. Just looking at some more recent news, the FOMC, Fed, the Dallas Fed, Lori Logan, and Cleveland President Beth Hemick both signaled opposition to further rate cuts, suggesting the Fed should err on the side of patience, which the market does not like.
So that's the story today. It's about maybe we don't get those rate cuts. So that's definitely not good for IWM and risk assets. So,
but currently I am up on my 608 calls. I'm
awesome.
up 13%.
Cool.
Nice.
So good job on that. And look, pretty much almost nothing else is working. There was another earnings release I really liked this morning, but I was just too occupied with air for good reason. But Generac, even though they missed, their guidance was really strong, and their guidance was strong because they said strong AI data center demand for their generators. Right? It makes all sense. Like we should all thought about this before. As soon as they said that, like, aha, oh my gosh. So I put this out in the Discord this morning. I didn't buy it just because I was focused on air and also ASTS, which we'll talk about. But this has been relative strength, ripping all day. If air didn't have news, I probably would have bought Generac or something. Actually, you know what? If air didn't have news, I would have been more into ASTS too, Rhett. So that saved me because ASTS.
Yeah.
I did escape with a tiny profit today just on this. We're trading this together, right? We bought the pullback, sold on the pop, but that's been baby thrown out with the bathwater here. It's a growth stock. So it's interest rate sensitive and the money flows against it right now, even though they had that beautiful Bluebird 6 news yesterday. So it's been a tough morning.
Yeah, but it has been.
I mean, look at this. Generac is still going on that. Oh my gosh. Look at that pullback. The pullback. Maybe on the next pullback, I'll try some Generac because that's a beautiful catalyst, AI data center.
Definitely.
I'm just checking. I had a little scalp in air when I put it in the Discord. I'm like, air can pop $1 here. I don't know if you guys saw that in the Discord. Well, I did step back in.
I tell you what, Apple is showing
a little bit on that up.
Relative strong strength today in this market. Look at it.
Apple.
Yeah. You see this?
How did someone in our community make money on ASTS calls? I made all the money on.
I made my money on calls as well with ASTS.
Oh, ASTS. I thought you said air. Oh, because we're buying the calls on that dip. That's right.
On the dip, and we popped it up there, but
yeah.
I re-entered.
Yeah.
Down on my latest entry. I didn't alert this one.
Yeah, look at that.
15%.
Wow, that's really nice relative strength on Apple. Apple has always been ever since I remember. I don't know. You should remember this laptop back in 2009 financial crisis. Apple was the last one to fall, man. Like when things are crashing and you had like circuit breakers and everything. like Apple would be holding up and it was like break even or slightly green for the day. And it was like that for a long time until finally it did fall. Do you remember those days when
Oh,
Apple was always the flight to safety play?
of course yeah, of course I remember
Yeah.
that. And let's remember Steve Jobs was still with us at that time
Yeah,
and
that's right.
had a huge
Wow,
following.
look at this air. I wish I did more size on that. I just scalped a little bit when I put it in the Discord. I'm like, this can pop a dollar from here, and it did. Wow. Oh well. Anyway, look at that beautiful curl. Oh my gosh. Wow. Okay, my baby doing well, but I'm all out. I made big money, guys, this morning. It was beautiful. On air. So let's see what else we got going on.
We still have more upside to go. We broke this
What was that?
downward wedge, bullish flag, and like I said before, if we break 36, we're headed to 42.
Are you in it? Are
Maybe
you
not
in this
today,
right
but
now?
I'm sorry,
Are you in it right now?
I am not in it. No,
Yeah. Okay.
I went with the
Um,
calls instead with the Qs.
oh, okay. Yeah.
But yeah, I do see that Eric. And honestly, if we break 36 again today, short-term target before the end of the week is 42.
Right. You did say that earlier this morning. Wow. Wow. That's crazy. Okay. So that's air. ASTS definitely. Look at this Generac. Hot new high of day, right? We've been talking about it all morning, and I never took a trade on it. Look, after it dipped 199 to 212. So there is relative strength out there, guys. There are positive catalysts which are bucking the market trend. I'm looking. Look at the weekly chart. What a breakout on Generac here above this 204 resistance area. Um, wow.
And we look at the general market. Everybody took a hit and turned at 10:30. So the market is recovering as of 10:30. You
Yeah.
can look at a
Yeah,
lot
I
of
see that.
stocks.
I see that. Yep, that's also when air turned.
Yeah.
The air started going up at 10:30. Wow, air looks really nice over here now. But ASTS did not really recover. A little bit of a weak bounce and a pullback. Not as that's
Yeah.
interesting.
I'm up
That's a little
20%.
surprising on
I'm
the
up
Q calls.
20% now on my Q calls.
Nice.
Well
Nice job.
done.
Yeah, there are some surprising things out there too to the downside. Gilat after good earnings report. Now I did say when the earnings report came out, I said not good enough. So I did say it could go down to the 50 DMA. They beat, right? But the problem is it was up 100% since the last report. So if you wanted to keep the momentum going, you would have had to beat by like 30, 40%. I'm like, yeah, they beat on the top and bottom line by like a few percentage points. So I wasn't surprised to see the sell off here to the 50 DMA, but kind of surprised to see it break the 50 DMA here today. And there's a lot of that going on, man, in risk assets today. Let's see if we can find another one. But mostly in those really hot sectors like defense tech. Um, Look at AMPX back to the 50. There was something I was like ONDS looking ugly. RCAT heading back to the 50. A lot of these also were up 3, 4, 5% this morning, and now they're down 5 to 10%. AVAV
Cloudflare,
rejected at the 20, 200. What's that?
Cloudflare
Did
was
it get?
dipped below and came back
I was
above,
actually
taken off.
surprised. That's net, right? Net.
Yes,
Yeah,
net,
yeah.
NET.
That's holding up actually. I was surprised at the magnitude of this price reaction because it was a modest beat. It wasn't a huge beat. Sometimes, yeah, that was definitely surprised at that because you have like A Lab that had a beat and it's down 18%. Then you have Net, which had a modest beat and it's up 11. There's obviously different factors there. And people who know the company as well, not only looking at the top and bottom line, maybe they're looking at some other metric, and maybe that explains it. But um,
There's been a lot of analyst upgrades in the last day
by the way, look at this
for
TDC.
Cloudflare.
I don't know this company at all. Teradata, never heard of it. Earnings last night. This might be a spot here if anyone has conviction in the fundamentals. Look at this pullback from 42 to 37, right on the 200. You know anything about this stuff?
Look on the daily. Look on the daily. That's scary. I wouldn't do
Yeah,
that.
this is the same thing that
I don't really
happened
trust them.
yesterday on what was that one I lost a lot of money on yesterday? Let me just see. It was yesterday. It was CRDO, right? CRDO, that was a similar daily candle after a big earnings beat, and look what happened. Wow, not down another 10% after. Wow,
Yeah, Ben, I think you said earlier you sold your
I
burn, right?
did.
So that was a good move that
I
you did.
did.
Yeah,
Not in my
definitely.
long term account, in the short term account, because I was up big and I didn't want to risk, like I said, I'm at the highs for the year. I did not want to risk giving it back by holding swings. And I saw it getting rejected here at the 20 DMA. It is ridiculously cheap and undervalued here, but like in a short term account, I'm not going to fight the short term momentum. So I'm keeping this in my long term account. I do expect it's going to get to that 50 DMA 1660. I really think before the next earnings report, it'll be at 20 plus. But
Here we go with ASTS.
for a short term account, it's going up.
Yeah, we're getting over that.
Are you in it?
Yeah, I'm still in calls.
Oh, you are. The average down or what?
Yeah, I'm down 8% on
QQQ is. I think ASTS is a buy right here. I think it's a buy right here. It's got to catch up a little bit with the Qs. The problem is it's more of a growth. The algos link this more to like a growth stock situation. So maybe getting hit, with the interest rates a little bit. See, let me just look at the IWM. Hold on. See, IWM is still down 1.3%. This is exactly what I was talking about in pre-market. Right, you see the money coming back into big caps. The growth. Let me see what RK is doing. I haven't looked at RK in a while, but RK still, yeah. So I think a little bit of headwinds with ASTS because it's a growthy name that they're still using a lot of capital. But I think I still like it though. I like it here because Qs look like they may have turned. Well, I don't know. Getting close to turning here. We'll see. We'll see if that happens. I'm going to keep Generac. By the way, if you have the right time frame, I think Gilot is an awesome buy here. But hang in here.
What ticker is that?
GILT.
Oh,
Yeah,
Gilt.
it is.
Okay.
It's cheap now here for space
Oh,
stock
yeah.
or defense or whatever they do. Space/defense.
Especially here at the dip.
Yeah, but in a short-term account, I don't love being in between these moving averages. In a long-term account, I'd definitely buy this here.
Yeah, and everybody. I mean, I would tell you, think about the Wild West. We had all this territory. Everybody was racing for land grabs, homesteading. It was the beginning of this huge expansion of America. Then we were doing, exploration of oceans. Then we went to the moon and space. This is where the next territory is in space.
Yeah.
You look at Amazon, look at Google, look at ASTS, I'm sorry, ASTS. You look at SpaceX now actually, I won't say abandoning, but pushing off the Mars program and focusing on.
That's why I thought
with
Lunar was going to
a
work, but
plug for
Lunar
there
really
too.
shit the bed, and I had to sell it for a loss.
That's they'll come back. I like the company. I've been in and out of it for a long time, but this is where not everybody, but this is where investors need to focus. This is a new territory this is wide open. You think about AI and data centers, think about the potential. This is huge real estate in the future.
Yeah. So here are the space stocks, ASTS in there, Redwire.
I got filled on some ASTS. I sold. What did it get sold? What? It's not even showing on Webull that I sold. But it went through. That's weird.
I bought some common shares down here at 95.73. I don't
pretty
feel
sure
like
I got filled at 150. I'm pretty sure I sold like 23 or 24 calls. Still have a few left, but I don't know. Webull's not showing anything, but they're gone.
I actually just sold it for 17 cents. Scalp because it's having trouble with this 50.
Yeah, that's why I had gotten out. That's so weird. What?
Quick entry and exit there. I'm watching that. Watching Generac and
Watch the
ASTS.
cues. They're curling back over here. I'm not liking that.
I see that. I just saw my calls go down.
Yeah, I don't know. Now it's a little trickier of an area. Let's see anything else that I like.
Maybe Trump will say something about the
Oh,
Fed
winner down.
comments.
Oh, for
Expecting
sure.
sometime.
Look at Datadog turning around after a beautiful earnings report yesterday. This might be good off the 20 DMA, but I'm just not in a risk-taking mood after. I want to preserve
Yes,
those
yes,
air
that's
profits.
nice, but I want to see this candle close above. There we go.
It's going now.
Yeah, it's starting. It's trying. It's hesitating, but trying to get
I
there.
want to get this breakout over this 5-minute 50. No, it's a 1-minute 50 I'm looking at.
Yeah, 1 minute.
Hey, Rhett, what do you think about SATS, which I'm not in, but I had been very bullish about it before. They were doing a lot of Spectrum sales. Do you think that this is responding in an opposite way to ASTS's success?
I mean, I think it was. I mean, in a little bit, I think it gets a sentiment premium, but at the same time, no, not really.
Well, wasn't this also up because don't they have a big position in SpaceX shares?
SATS?
They do. Yeah, they are invested.
I think
in
that's
SpaceX,
also a big
yes.
reason why it ran up.
Yeah, but
Since
it's not a large position though. Is
I
it?
don't know. I have no idea. I didn't quantify it. I don't look into it. But all I know is it started exploding right after SpaceX, reports came out of IPO this year. So that's definitely part of it.
Moves in ASTS now. Now we're starting to go.
Look at that Datadog. Look at that Datadog go. ASTS is going.
Yeah, this is
Air is
chart
going.
great.
Qs are going. All right, guys. Rebound. I think that might be the bottom for the day. What do you think, guys? I think that might be the bottom for the
As
day.
long
At
as
least
we
in the
don't see any
Qs.
headlines that relate to war or anything coming out else from the Fed, I think so.
Yeah.
So as long as we're clear from those, I think we're golden.
Yeah, it might be a little soft, a little choppy, but let's get past the New York lunch and get back to trading
Taking
in
a
the
nice
afternoon.
quick scalp in ASTS here.
So Ben, ASTS owns 2.5 to 3% of SpaceX, valued at $20 billion.
SATS, you mean?
Oh, sorry, SATS.
Yeah.
Yes, owns 2.5 to 3% of SpaceX.
Yeah, that's a lot. 20 billion.
Yeah.
So what's their market cap?
20
Market
billion.
cap's 32 billion. So that has a lot to do with the move.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look at Air going. Look at ASTS going. Oh.
And my bull.
Oh man.
Bull's trying to curl up
I
here.
thought I just sold ASTS for profit.
Weird.
It's not showing on my.
It's not showing mine either. It's not showing any.
That's what Rhett said. Yeah. Oh, looking good.
It's looking
Yeah,
great, but I can't see what I got filled at for all this. It's not good.
Look at the Qs.
Can you not go into your order? Go into your order screen.
It's saying my last buy for ASTS, not any of my sells I've been making.
So weird. No, I sold this. I made like a quick $1,500 on this. I should have, but I'm going my P&L and it's not showing in my P&L.
No, it's not showing. I'm not showing anything. I just sold something else. Nothing is showing.
I see it in my orders that I sold it, but it's not showing my P&L, which is a little bit.
It's not
I'm
showing
up
my orders for
42%
me.
on my calls.
What?
I'm up 42% on the Q calls. Holy cow!
Nice.
Yeah, it's a nice bounce.
It's a little bit of money there.
So weird. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, that's so strange.
I don't get it. Anyway, I don't know. Look at Datadog. Oh my gosh, I saw that too right before it popped. Datadog is curling right before the Qs exploded there. Look at Gilat moving now. The only thing I'm really still in is the OPTX. I sold basically everything else after I had that big one in Air. I'm like, I don't need to take risks today. But I kept OPTX. Weak bounce back. Yeah. Why isn't this showing my gate? All right, now it's starting to show something. What the heck?
Lunar. Someone's saying Lunar crushed them.
Lunar what?
Lunar crushed them, as someone's saying.
Crushed them? Oh, in the Discord. Yeah, Lunar didn't work out.
No, on the chat. Oh, Izzy said that.
Yeah.
Yeah, somebody says, I think MOS is going to reward me big.
Mosaic fertilizer?
Mosaic. That's what they said.
Oh, look at the cues that bounce back. What a call. Oh, we had a good show here. Right at the top of the show, we were saying we like the cues
Yeah,
over here.
market's reversing. It's ripping.
I
About 42% on these calls now.
I wish I bought ASTS calls right there as it was breaking that line. I just like
Yeah, this
scalped
is a
common
nice
shares.
recovery finally.
Yeah. I wish I had
Hey, I
data
agree
talk
with
too.
you on Mosaic there, Hamid. That's a great chart right there on the daily. You're headed up to 35.
Let's look at Mosaic.
I like it.
30 daily, 200 DMA. When's the earnings report? Earnings are next February 24th. Well, it's a little tricky. I mean, if the report comes in, yeah, because they got earnings. Anything can happen. But nice space there. Looks good.
Tick. What is tick?
I don't understand why
It's not even pulling up online.
showing this. Would have had a nice win on air there. I mean ASTS, but it's not. It's not
Nothing is showing
right.
up for me. I still can't see anything. STS pulling back a little here. That's so weird.
And air's flat. I mean, positive, but flat.
Wow, look at Datadog. Datadog had a great report, man. Oh, I wish I bought it as I was telling you guys about it 4 minutes ago. Oh, look at air. Air looks like it wants to blow.
Look at
I
Apple.
think air wants to blow past 35. Am I crazy?
Air looks great.
No,
the 5-minute looks amazing on this thing.
On air?
I said if it goes to 36, you're going to
No, just
42.
Oh, what just happened? Did I get
Popped up.
in? I want to see if I got in before that happened. Let me see. Yeah, I got in at 34.93.
Wow. Look at Amazon. Yeah, look at Apple. Sorry, Apple's.
All right, now that
great.
ASTS
There's air.
is showing.
Yeah, Apple just.
Here you go, Ben. I said if it breaks 36, that's your
We're
trigger right
at
there.
35.50.
You're almost there.
Apple straight beast mode today.
Yeah.
Someone's thanking you
And
for
Microsoft.
D-Dog
I think
today, man.
Microsoft.
What is it? What is it
Someone's
about
thanking
D-Dog?
you for D-Dog.
Who's thanking me?
I don't know. Some guy named Maverick on here.
Oh, what I mentioned it here on the show?
Yeah, I believe
Yeah,
so.
thing
Trying to go through these
exploded.
comments.
I'm like, data all looks good. 2 minutes later, it explodes with a NASDAQ. Holy crap. That was crazy.
Yeah, I'm watching Microsoft for an entry.
Someone's saying bull flag forming on SanDisk. That's probably popping up in the market.
Probably
too.
because the Qs are up, so like everything.
Jay Rice does make a good point. Apple,
What?
they're also not spending hundreds of billions on AI.
Yeah.
Sorry, Apple is not spending. Is that
not compared to like these other huge
companies?
companies?
Oh, that's why it's holding up. Less capex. Maybe.
I mean, and this Claude bot, it's crazy. My buddy, he just bought 5 more Mac Minis.
Really, with the Claude thing?
Because he's gonna start selling.
Well, I don't get it. Like, I don't know.
He's gonna start because he owns his own AI agency, so he's gonna start selling it part of his packages to set up a Claude bot for all them.
Is Lunar finally gonna go here?
ASTS.
I lost your screen, Ben.
Oh, what just happened to Ben? You there, Ben?
There he is.
I am. I don't know what happened.
Here we are. Lunar curving up.
Yeah.
From here.
Do you like Lunar here?
Let me see.
Do we chase Lunar?
I like Lunar. Period.
I know, but I'm talking about like.
I just said space.
Oh, I have it in my long-term account.
Clear target's 1740 right now.
I'm saying for a quick day trade here. Do we take Lunar?
1740. I like it.
Okay.
Lunar 1740.
Yeah.
Yeah. Quick little scalp. Couple things there.
1785.
This thing is really underperformed this week with that SpaceX news. I really expected
Yeah,
it to do much better.
Yeah.
I mean, it's such an
that kind of
obvious
shocked me there.
play. Yeah, I stepped into a little bit of lunar, just small size. Oh, there goes air.
Yeah, Oracle, we saw price action.
Do I have a sell order on
Yeah.
air? Let me check.
Yeah, I think. Yeah.
Oh, I
you're
do.
100%
I do
right
have a
there.
little sell order on air over here. Almost. Just trying to get a 75-cent scalp for my entry. Come on, let's pop a little bit more. 34.90, 370.
Now, I'd like to see us get back before we flushed over the 614 level that we were talking about earlier for the Qs.
You know, I gotta say, laptop, I think you're probably right about air. In terms of breaking 36. Look at the RSI.
No, it looks great. Everything looks great.
RSI in the 1 minute here.
And look at it just riding up the 20. Like, that chart is beautiful.
Yeah, I'm just scalping a small size now because I have the big win, so I don't want to take any risks. But 34.93, I got in. I have a sell order in the 35.90s on this little scalp.
Yeah, we're at 4 times. We're at 4 times average volume already.
A lot of the pre-market volume was me.
Well, a lot of people joined at 9:30.
Yeah. All right, let's see. And Generac is one that we missed. Let me see. Is this finally showing my gain on that ASTS dip? Let me see. ASTS. Yeah, a little bit better. All right. Oh, it's getting there. Probably prematurely selling this, but like I said, I don't want to. I guess I'm out. Did I hit 35.90? Probably. So got a dollar move right there, live on the show, on air. In at 34.94, out at 35.90, but it's probably going higher.
Wow, thinking about it has a nice cost basis on air of 16. Ben, when was it that you made that money on air? When was that? What to what?
You mean this morning?
No, not this morning too.
Oh, you mean the first time that
the very first time it was
that I
at what
became
price?
famous on air? Actually, that was my first and still only $1 million profit. It was crazy across all my different accounts, including retirement and everything. But that was back here. You can see July 16th, 2021. That was probably, no, I think the day that I showed up on Benzinga giving the pitch was probably July 19th, 2021. So yeah, I was on Benzinga July 19th, 2021. But I had a $50,000 position on this July 16th. And then when the news came out that they got the EV contract with Tesla, and it wasn't known that it was Tesla, but we could infer that it was for Tesla. It was a production order the first time they got a big production order. So I doubled my position to $100,000 at $2.50, right? And then I held on all the way to 25, 10-time return, and I sold at 25 about 4 months later. So it was $100,000, 10-time return 4 months later. My first and only $1 million profit. That's when I made all the money, and I missed a lot of this stuff actually. I went on to the other things for a while, but in the past year, I've gotten interested in air again because of their shift now from EVs to AI. So another like kind of second coming of air as they shift into an even bigger market than the EV market. Actually, AI market's actually bigger for them. So today they got their first major production contract for AI today. It's a big deal. But yeah, there's a video on YouTube. You just search like story trading air Benzinga, like put those 3 keywords in. You can see my original first time I ever appeared on Benzinga with that air pitch.
Is that why we're allowed back?
Yeah, that's why we're allowed back. Yeah, yeah, that's right. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, someone's saying they're gonna have a great year with some of the deals. ASTS struggling here.
All right, let me see what I've had a couple air scalps after my big win. I'm trying to get to a $50,000 profit. After that big win in the morning, I had a $47,000 profit, and now with a couple scalps, I'm at 49,600. So I just need to make another $400, and I'm gonna put a plaque on my wall. 50,000 air today.
Nice, Q's pulling back.
I know.
You lock in any profits for those calls or no?
Yeah, I locked in. I sold a portion for about 17.5. I'm still up 32%. But I took some money off the table. So that was profit.
Lunar almost. No, not really.
I did step into Lunar. Let's see. I don't
Doesn't
know.
look like it's working out.
I mean, it's holding this 1 minute line. Things got a little excited there as the Q's flip green, but the problem is IWM and
I'd
rate.
be more interested, to be honest, in ASTS than Lunar.
Oh yeah, of course. In terms of buying dips and stuff, yeah, 100%, 100%. And air, I still ASTS and air still, and Generac, which I still haven't traded all day, just staring at it. But those three are my top three to trade dips and stuff today. I should have done Datadog too, though. But whatever.
Oh, Generac. Imagine if I had went out a month on my calls to hold instead of doing only a week out for Generac.
Look at Generac. Oh, I know.
Oh.
I know.
Because we were playing this name we would have caught this move. The Godfather is typing. Let's see. Wonder what he's gonna have to say.
Little dip in air.
Izzy's asking if you're back in ASTS common, Ben.
Nah, I just scalped it on the show here. That's all. When it broke this red line, I just scalped it for like 30 seconds for a nice little one. I just got an alert. Talks are now underway between President Trump. This thing with Iran is so confusing to me because why is it so transparent? I don't get it. I just don't understand it, man. Everything, and even the position of the carriers, like I don't understand why everything's so transparent.
Yeah, and it's a bad look if on one hand you have these talks and you're doing all this in front, and then all of a sudden you attack in the middle of the night. That's a bad look for any.
I mean, he kind of did that last time
country.
with when he attacked the nuclear. He said, "Yeah, we're talking," or I'll look at Generac is about to go again. Jeez, but it's just confusing to me, like why you would publicly do all this.
I agree. Trump doesn't seem to be. That's usually not his playbook.
Oh, it looks like 1075, 1090.
And the Iranian government has made 3 statements. Did you see that they're willing to negotiate, but number one, they're not willing to talk about their ballistic missile system. They don't want to talk about uranium enrichment, and they will not talk about contributions or supporting Islamic terrorist organizations. So other than those 3 things, we're welcome to talk to the United States. Well, if I'm Trump, I'm going to say, well, ballistic missiles and uranium and terrorism, okay. I have an answer for that.
You know what I think happened. I don't know if I should
Israel.
No.
No.
I think I think what happened is, they were about to go in. I don't know. It was like a month ago. Like the planes were taken off, and then it was called off or whatever. I think what happened was there was an assessment made that Iran had the capability to potentially harm, and that there would be maybe casualties with U.S. troops at all the regional bases and the aircraft carriers. I think they got scared about their short-range missile
Well,
capabilities.
I think also Middle East countries had a conversation with Trump
Yeah,
too at the
that
same
stuff,
time, right?
I heard that, but all of that stuff I think is just propaganda. It's just the misdirection, information warfare stuff. I don't believe any of it. Like, why would he talk about all this stuff openly? I don't get it. I don't believe any of that stuff has a real impact. Honestly, I think Trump made his decision maybe 2 months ago. I think Trump made his decision a long time ago. No one knows exactly what it is, but I think the reason for that sudden not doing it and then the delay is because they're building up crazy missile defense systems to protect all the regional U.S. bases in the Middle East and the aircraft carriers. That's what I think is going on.
Yeah, you don't
Um,
move that many assets into the region just to talk and then turn around and go, "Oh, okay, we'll go back home."
yeah. So even this thing with Netanyahu coming today, I think it's all show. I think it's all some sort of theater. I don't know what the theater is about. I don't know why they're so public about it. It's like a little. I don't get it. Like you can talk on the phone. I don't know. I think it's all. To me, I think it's something's going to happen sooner rather than later, and it's like all these meetings are to maybe give the impression that we're not ready yet. We still have to make decisions. Netanyahu just came here. Like, we're not going to suddenly attack while he's still here. I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if they do it tonight. I don't know. I think there's a lot of misdirection out there. So
Friday
I
the
have been
13th.
playing, let me tell you, I've been playing that. I've been playing USO calls. Ooh, maybe I should get back in. Actually, I made 200% on USO calls overnight. I sold those at the open. I was intending to hold until something breaks out, but it was up nice. And then the other thing
So
I've been playing,
those were Fridays
some were
calls?
today and some were Friday.
Oh,
So
okay.
I
Wow.
initially sold all of today's, and then I sold the Fridays too because I don't know, I was having a
So
good day.
so can I ask you about the timing of those? Because I wonder why you pick an option that expires on a Wednesday when we kind of expect something to happen over a weekend.
Earlier this week, I've always expected every weekend is when I was about USO calls, like either on a Thursday afternoon or Friday morning to play
Yeah,
that
yeah.
event anticipation on the weekend. That's what I've been doing every week. But this week, I decided to get some earlier USO calls because I don't know. There was some analysis out there I was listening to, and someone was predicting a Wednesday strike or something. Like there was something like, oh, it's not going to strike. Iran would think they're not going to strike before that meeting with Netanyahu is over, so that Netanyahu meeting is Wednesday, and that's just a trick, and he'll come in Wednesday. I don't know because also I heard the military buildup was finished by the end of last week. I just went for Wednesday, but in any case, the other way I'm playing it is RTX calls. Lockheed Martin, NOC, and see what I've been worried about for a while with USO calls, especially if he does it over a 3-day weekend, is what if it is something like Maduro? What if it is a very surgical thing, or maybe it's not even surgical, maybe it's just fast, right? With
Yeah,
all
yeah.
right that they go in because Trump doesn't want an extended war and he doesn't want casualties, so he might have a very narrow objective and be like, I don't know, let's like bomb all the IRGC bases and like bomb Khomeini, or we'll go in and like kidnap Khomeini. I don't know, like something where he can declare victory before the market opens Tuesday, right? Like we talked
Yeah,
about.
but I don't think that's not gonna be the chance though. I mean, that's gonna be a major operation. I think it'll last more than a day or two.
Maybe the last 3 days. I don't know. I'm just saying that's
88 hours.
if it's possible, Trump will go for that. If it's possible, Trump will go for that. Right.
Sure.
So which is why I think actually the big defense companies are actually a better bet, because even if it resolves over a weekend, the defense companies are still flying because
Yeah.
it shows whatever, like they have to increase the budget. We need them. Look at how successful it was, whatever it was. But if there's some sort of conclusion over a weekend, oil can like crash the next morning rather than explode. So I think oil is a little bit riskier, and I think so. I've been playing. So I've looked at Lockheed, Northrop Grumman, and RTX, and RTX
Here's
to me
another
has
stock.
the best calls, the best spreads, and
Here's
best
another
liquidity.
stock, which I should have thought about before. Jay Rice writes in the comments about HWM, which is Howmet, which is a great company, a great stock for this. I love it.
Yeah,
I don't even know what
Kilo
this is.
Whiskey, Montana.
93 billion. Wow. How do I not know what this is? Aerospace.
Yeah.
Jet engine components, aerospace. This will go up on War 2?
Yes.
Wow, look at that. Look at that
yeah,
chart.
that chart is beautiful.
Jeez Louise. Let me put that in defense.
Thank you, Jay Rice, for reminding me about that.
Cool.
And Brian says just go long on /CL. I don't know what he's saying.
See, Colgate or what is that? No, not
CL.
Colgate.
Crude oil. /CL is crude oil. The
Is it?
futures. /CL is
Okay.
crude oil futures, I
Okay.
think.
Yeah. Because nobody wants to do that because you're afraid oil might drop at the same time. Crude futures. Yeah. Got it.
Yeah.
But Howmet, I love Howmet. And he says earnings are tomorrow.
Look at the Qs jumping again. Qs are jumping again, and I don't know. To me, like Datadog and ASTS are underperforming here. Maybe I have to catch up.
Yeah.
Let's see. Qs.
Q's.
I think I'm gonna try ASTS again here. I
You
don't
trying to
love.
get her here?
I mean, I don't
making
love
money?
that minute chart, but I'm just like trying to infer from the Qs right now.
Yeah, the 5-minute doesn't look good either, though. It's having a hard time getting back over this 99 level.
Yeah, but look at the Qs.
Yeah, the Q's are fine.
And consider the news on ASTS. How many times have we seen ASTS explode in the afternoon after good news? A lot. Even in like days when the market was really tough. No, haven't we seen that a lot?
Yeah.
Like after 1:30 p.m. it'll be just like straight up for like 2 hours in a row. We've seen that a lot. Here goes air again.
Yeah. After the New York lunch.
Look,
Get back to
Qs are up above these moving averages. So
Hold on to a few.
I'm getting back in ASTS right here, even though the minute.
Wow, look at Generac. Generac is just holding up so nicely up here.
I know.
May make a new high here in a little bit.
And air too. And air. These three, just keep these on your radar, man. Generac, air, and ASTS.
I tell you, if air breaks 36, this thing flies to the highs again.
That's exactly what his laptop's saying.
Yeah, this thing goes.
I'm not in it currently. I had that little scalp. Oh, I could have gotten back in. Get back
this
in.
thing. What's the target?
Look at it go.
If it breaks 36, I'm saying it's going to 42 by Friday.
Wow.
I could see that. I was thinking 39. But looking at the week, if you look at the weekly chart, yeah.
All right, I'm gonna step back in just a little bit, small size, just to be part of, like, really almost meaningless size. I don't want to give back my gains.
That's 90. Yeah, it's less than halfway between 54 and
AMKR. That's one of the AMKR. But didn't they have bad earnings or?
No. They had like just a slight beat was what it was, which is interesting to me because most stocks have been getting destroyed on slight beats, but this has been still going. Yeah.
So Citibank pushes back on the call for Fed rate cut to April after jobs data.
It's back on that ER list.
They're pushing back to wait, or they're pushing back.
Pushing back on the rate cut. They don't want it.
They don't want a rate cut.
Yeah, Citibank.
Look at Nectar up another 17%. I wish I was smart enough to trade biotech. Data. It's hard. I don't know.
It is very hard.
Look, I gave up on that.
Viking Therapeutic.
What, today?
4 years.
Went from the low 40s.
I still own some Viking. I own it for like 4 years now in my retirement account.
VKT.
I like waiting for Lilly to buy them out or something.
Yeah. Everybody's waiting for Lilly to buy them out. Yeah. You know, the one stock I like right now in healthcare, regardless of what Trump says, OSCR, I know that Kushner's family's in it, but Pfizer, Pfizer has just a solid chart. If you want something that's really stable and something to put away long term, stick with Pfizer.
Yeah.
PFE.
But I don't know. Like, if you didn't tell me that, at one point I had Novo in my retirement account. I'm like, yeah,
Someone's
that didn't
putting the
work out.
ticker, thinking about it's asking about CAPR, Capper.
Oh,
Yeah,
Capper,
I
yeah.
don't know that stock well. I think Godfather does. A laptop sounds like he does. I think that's
Played it
also
before.
biotech.
We traded
Yeah,
this thing a while back.
yeah. This is definitely a Godfather stock. What happened here? Some data. There must have been data on December 3rd. It's biotech. I have no opinion on it.
Yeah, I
The-
don't know.
The f-
I was like 2024 trading that.
Look at the Qs and ASTS now,
Summer of
guys.
2024.
Let go, baby. I think it's ASTS time. Might be air time too, guys. Woo! Might be Generac time too. Oh, this air looks beautiful.
Did you say bull? Did you say bull time?
Air and ASTS, I said. Is it bull time?
Wow, looks like the
I'm
Godfather
hoping.
was long as $6.
On what? Capricorn?
CAPR
Yeah.
back in July. I'm looking at his.
July. Oh wow. I was there in July of 2024.
I wish I would have followed him on this one. Not just traded.
Oh, look at the air. Oh my gosh, air looks so good. Yeah, so the funny thing is, I actually have a doctor of pharmacy degree, and when I was graduating pharmacy school, my dream job was to be a biotech analyst. I should have. I was considering getting my MBA right afterwards, so I can get go right into Wall Street as a biotech analyst. But I didn't get the MBA. I thought, let me see if I can make money on my own without a dual degree. So I tried it. I tried trading biotech stocks. And I sucked at it. And by the way, I know my pharmacy stuff, my pharmaceuticals. I did very good in school, graduated with highest honors. So it's like I understand the science and stuff. But even though I understood all the science, I was trying to predict like FDA approvals and shit like that. And it didn't work. It was just hit or miss. And I just got so frustrated. I said, the hell with this. And like, if I can't do it with my pharma background, I don't know. It's very hard, guys. Very hard
Yeah,
business.
it's almost like an insider's game.
Yeah.
Really.
Very hard business.
Look at SanDisk and Howmet. Howmet, both. We just talked about Howmet.
We just
Howmet's
talked about Howmet.
roaring.
Wow, SanDisk looks great too. To keep running.
SanDisk, yeah.
Yeah, someone said a bull flag was forming on that one.
Yeah, or at the beginning of the
Oh,
show.
definitely.
BIO is the hardest to
Yeah.
trade.
Yeah.
Yeah, no thank you on that one.
Mew back above the 20 DMA. Is that now trading together as SanDisk? SanDisk's been a little bit better since the earnings report.
I was hoping to get gifts in the 350s to buy more long-term shares from you, but sadly we never got there.
I'm up 43% on my calls.
Dude, I really like ASTS the rest of the day.
Yeah, it looks great.
I don't know. I'm thinking of getting calls on ASTS for the rest of the day, Rhett. How much are the $100 weeklies?
They'll probably be $3, I would assume. Hold on.
Yeah, the 340, 350. We were trading 105 this morning. I don't know. Maybe I'll just stick with common shares.
ASTS?
It looks great to break out here.
Yep, I love it here. I love it.
You should have bought it. You should have bought it down when I told you it was going to break 36.
I know. Well, I did buy it. I bought it. No, I bought it here.
Oh, you
Yeah,
did?
but I flipped it
Yeah.
for $1 after like 5 seconds. I'm like, all right. I'm increasing my common share position ASTS. I think we can go over 100 today again.
That'd be great. I really thought we were gonna push to 105 to 110.
I'll get the Qs, guys. That's gonna help our ASTS.
Yeah, these Qs look great.
Here.
Hey, all my.
Oh my gosh, Generac looks so good. Jeez Louise.
Whoa,
Look at
my
this Generac.
ASTS cells are still.
Oh my
not in
gosh,
order.
Generac's about to blow again. Oh, what's the target? What's the next target on Generac? Gotta go to a weekly chart. Oh my gosh. I really wish I played this. This is one of my favorite companies to play on earnings. I just didn't do it. 244. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I'd say
240.
244 is a target.
Yeah, man.
250.
250, 245 to 250.
Oh,
245
but
to
long
250.
term swing, right? Not,
As a swing, not today. Yeah.
yeah,
Like over the next 2 or 3 days, maybe.
yeah. 217 maybe today before the end of the day.
Wow. It's like I'm staring at this all day and doing nothing. Wow. Yeah. I'm telling you, this is pretty clear on the chart. 240, 240 to 250. You could see it by the end of the week, 240 to 250. And I'm still doing nothing about it. What a beautiful chart. This has been one of the best charts of the day. Look at that. Just a shallow pullback. Look at that high and tight consolidation after that shallow pullback, bucking the market trend like every step of the way today.
I'd have to say, honestly, it looked like I think Apple probably was the best up until now.
Oh, right. I don't look at it. Oh yeah, Apple up and to the right all day. Yeah. Yeah. Damn. When am I gonna step into a little Generac? Never. Just watch it all week. Go up another $20.
Add it to the retirement account, let it ride, catch it that way.
I think I'm fully invested right now in the retirement account. Let me see. I have a little bit of cash.
Here's the morning note. You're gonna see something.
Look at Nectar, 18%. Oh my gosh. There's another one bucking the market trend. Yeah, there are multiple analyst price targets over $100 on this thing. 66.92. It's about to break that 52-week high. Wow, pull up a weekly chart on Nectar. Holy crap, it's going to this gap over here. Nectar's going to $95. Holy schmoly. Nectar's going to $95, guys. Maybe the first 77. Yeah. 77 and then 95. So 67, 77, 95 are the three levels I see. 66, 67, 77, 95.
You're looking back at that gap from
Yeah.
March of 2022.
Yep. Well, consider also all the analysts came out increasing their targets. They're all over $100.
Yeah.
So that gap shouldn't be a problem there. It's below the analyst targets. I'm not talking about the top of the gap. I'm talking about the resistance at the bottom of the gap there. Which is
Exactly. Oh,
95,
yeah.
93.
So look at this one. Izzy just pointed out ACHC. No position for me. It's popping up right now. There's news.
Acadia Health.
Oh, another healthcare stock.
Oh, yeah.
I can't trade these healthcares. Market cap 1.5 billion. ACHC. Checking out Benzinga right now. 10 a.m.
So this is what happens. This is what happens every time. The news pops out. Somebody got into it. They write it up, and it hits a peak, and it comes back 50%. We've seen.
There's
this
no
before,
official
Ben, many
news
times.
that I see, so maybe something out on social media, but nothing hit Benzinga yet. Hey, Benzinga, get on it. What's going on here? Something's going on. You got the volume coming in starting 11:25 a.m. Very significant volume. There may be news. It just didn't hit the Benzinga news feed yet. I don't know. ACHC. All I have, I have nothing from today on the Benzinga wire.
I don't see anything either.
But if someone's saying there's news, I believe them. It's probably something circulating on social
Gotta
media.
be. Look at the volume.
Yeah.
Look at the volume.
Yeah. Maybe some sort of FDA action that hasn't been PR'd yet. That someone just saw on a website or something like that. Could be something like that. Or an analyst upgrade. Who knows?
Not seeing anything online. Someone hit calls. Where are those? Hold on. Some news, Jobby Uber.
Look at this Nectar. Oh my god.
11. It's 11:29. We have 1 minute left.
Dude, this Nectar and Generac charts are so beautiful. I just can't chase. I can't chase them, man. I'm having a problem chasing these two. But I love the charts and the news too, especially Generac. Speaking
All
of,
right.
you said that someone buy calls as a catalyst. Did you see these pump and dumpers circling around RR this week? Mike Alfred, but then look at the options volume on the $4 weeklies. There was a huge account. I'm not going to say it was massive account piling in like massive money into the $4 calls at 5 cents, and now they're worthless. Look at that.
Hey, just letting you guys know, someone just alerted us. I see this on the 13F filing. Goldman Sachs is now took their hedge position off and is now long on Webull.
What do you mean? They were short Webull before?
It closed its hedge position, so they had a hedge on the trade.
Yeah.
So now
Really?
they're strictly long on it. All right, with that, it's 11:30. You guys have any final words for the community? Because then we just say peace out, and then they end it for us.
Oh, we're not going to come back and talk to Ryan? All right.
No. There's none of that anymore.
I don't know that anymore. Ryan's busy having his lunch. Okay. So anyway, it was a nice show. Yeah, join us over at Story Trading. You can join our Discord. Just check out our profile or check out laptops also. Laptop Travel. If you like laptops content here, go to his profile because then he'll get credit when he joins Discord. It says x.com/laptop travel. Otherwise, you can just sort of go to Story Trading profile. We'll see you in our Discord, guys. Looking forward to another great day tomorrow. Thanks, everyone.
Awesome. Take care, everyone.
All right, bye-bye.
Keep your eyes on space, folks.